All right, you're live. Do I play it?
Huh?
Play it?
Oh, hold on. Let me refresh here.
Somebody check your volume.
We gotta hit.
Yeah.
Plug.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, there we go.
Damn.
Oh, it
I
is
didn't realize I looked that good.
All right. Are y'all ready?
Camera.
It's like a camera, man.
Filter.
Yeah, dude. Let's do it. Go ahead.
Nah, this is from Camp on Honor.
It's Wacky Wednesday con El Bumper. Unfiltered, the real deal. No pre-planning, no chingaderas. Straight up from the veil. Wacky Wednesday. B-Town's very own. It's Wacky Wednesday con El Bumper. Here's your host, Bumper Gomez.
All right. So, shit, that's going up quick, bro. Hey, welcome everybody. I'm a far away than what I'm used to being.
Tell them to give you a thumbs up if they can hear you.
If you guys can hear me, can I get a couple of thumbs up or some hearts to let us know that you can hear us, because we are far away from the microphone. So if anybody's watching, give us something. Let us know you can hear us. So you're gonna have someone. You started your own live? Yeah. So
Yeah, everybody has.
the thing is that people they're gonna be on here. You should have shared it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Cut it off and share it, because that way we all get the same comments. How do you see who's on? Oh, well, you just see the viewers right here. Like you'll see the comments. Like see all these people already.
So I go to yours and share it?
Yeah.
Anybody, thumbs up if you can hear us.
You can. You're fine.
You can hear it, nice and clear. All right.
So I go to yours and share it?
You can hear it,
Yes.
babe? Good. All right. Yeah. So we're going through all our technical stuff here, right? Again, we shoot from the hip. It's episode 7.
Your wife.
Episode 7 of Wacky Wednesday. I started this 7 weeks ago. I've been doing one a week every Wednesday, and so she can hear, and she's all the way in Australia. Claire, we're not gonna throw you under the bus. She actually took her day off to watch this. Claire, nobody's watching at your work.
Claire.
I don't think. So I started this 7 weeks ago, and it was just messing around. People started messaging me like, "Hey, I had a good time hanging out with you," and then from there, it went from me getting drunk and being silly on camera to I started getting more serious, interviewing people, and then shit. This year's been crazy, and then this week, has it been a week? It's been a week since all this has started. This week has kind of like threw a wrench in what was already a fucked up situation, to be honest with you. With all this COVID and stuff going on, it really was. Our country was. I don't know. I read a meme where it said like, "Hey, we were locked up for so long, and they fucking let us out for 3 days, and we fucked it all up." You know what I mean? So now we're, that's where we're at. But it leads me to today's episode, man. Today's episode, I've been waiting for it since last Wednesday. As soon as we finished the other one, I couldn't wait to get 3 different individuals, and I'll speak on the brown race. I know I say that I won't, but for being a brown-skinned man, I think I'll throw a few comments in there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start from my right, which is probably your left. I don't know. We'll start over here with the guy with the bright neon hat. You can't miss him. I'll let them introduce themselves, and then I'll take it back. Go ahead, Sean.
So my name is Sean Bevino. I'm a father of 2 beautiful girls. I am a black man. My mama always told me whether you're part black or black at all, you're black. That's how I've been raised my whole life. So definitely have some opinions and views on everything that's going on, but also very open and being that I am multicultural, I have a lot of different insights on everything that's going on, whether through my life or what's going on now. So I'm just happy Bumper gave me the opportunity to be on this Wacky Wednesday. And
boy!
The views or any comments that I have.
So all y'all that followed me maybe a couple of years ago when I was just a little more slim and trim, right? I owe it all to my buddy right here, Sean B. So if you're looking to get slim and trim, right? Come talk to me because I still sell stuff. Come see me. I'll take care of you. Yes. All right? Manny.
As you guys know, my name is Manny. Obviously, I've known Bumper for quite some time already. I think it's been already how many years?
It's 2008, 2009.
10 years.
One,
Over
right?
10 years.
Well, I knew you, but then advanced. Well, I knew you one and advanced.
So that's 2005, 2006.
I put out.
Yeah, around that time frame. But I'm married also. You know, I'm originally from California, San Diego, West Sider. But moved down here to San Antonio, Texas, to start a better life, you know, for my kids and for my family, and having to look back. Hopefully today's podcast, whatever we want to call it, is Wacky Thursday, not Wednesday, it's Wacky Thursday.
Today's Wednesday. Oh,
Hey,
you go to school too?
All right, Wacky Wednesday, you know, like, hopefully today we can go ahead and clarify some, you know, mixed feelings about how the society's going, and we can go ahead and get everybody's, you know, opinions, and not in a negative way. We're accepting each other for what we believe, but at the same time have a common goal to go ahead and make things better.
Yeah. So you said he's from California. Hey, can you just stand up real quick, bro? Just real quick, like just a little. Check out the T-shirt, bro. Yeah, he's already in the
Fly, fly.
Not that I'm a Cowboy fan. I'm just saying. To my left, my Caucasian guest for the evening.
I prefer cracker.
Whatever you want to call yourself. But my
name's Mike Harrington. I'm married. I got 4 great kids. This guy called me a couple of days ago and said you're the most level-headed white guy I know, and I want you to be on this whatever this is.
Wacky Wednesday. Hello.
Or Thursday. whatever time zone you're having to be in. You have to be in.
He's in Okinawa.
So yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Cool. So basically, man, if you are watching from anywhere else besides South Texas, you'll hear a lot of things that I'm going to talk about really happens just here in South Texas. But I think everybody here is kind of like Sean, have you lived anywhere else besides San Antonio? No.
I've been a lot of places. But
You've been you've been to a lot of places. So when you walk into any store here in San Antonio in South Texas, I mean the 3 predominant races that you're going to see anywhere are going to be a Mexican American, a Caucasian, a white guy, a Wolio, a gringo, whatever.
That's more than 3, bro.
What? No, but that's what they call it. I mean, that's what people are used to calling them, right? You know, and African American, negro, negrito, whatever the case may be. But I wanted to start my show off with something like we like to do in the Marine Corps. We always do like an attention gainer, right? We like to get everybody's attention and just kind of see their reaction, right? So a long time ago, I was walking down the Riverwalk and I bought these, and everybody has a drink and nobody has a coaster for a reason, because I kind of saved the coasters, right? So, of course, me being the man that I am,
The cock.
You said it, I did it. I'm the guy, right? I'm the guy, right? So that's my coaster there. The next one I got, I don't know if you guys can see from really, really far away, but if you ever played Mexican bingo,
I guess that's mine.
check it out. Right there, El Negrito. Don't call it a bingo because we're just saying, you're just handing these out, all right? So, Sean, that one's yours. Not yours to keep, but yours to use.
Like Sandy Davis Jr.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So, me and my wife were kind of talking. I had 2 left, right? And because there's not really one name that there is one, but I don't have it. Like El Catrín would have been yours.
That was about Acho.
Well, shit, that would have been good too.
For both of them.
I have 2, right? And I kind of thought about y'all's character, and so to me, you know, Marine, and it's real basta madre.
There we go.
El valiente.
I was about to say, bro,
Right?
you call me a soldado.
Oh,
That's why I had it, bro.
That's why. So the last one letter is a soldado.
Oh.
But he's actually a sailor. He's actually a sailor. But don't hold that against him because
He's actually done some pretty cool
this
stuff.
dude right here is a bad mofo. He won't brag about it. I'll brag about for him. If you ever want to talk, this dude's a bad mofo. He's been there, done that. So that's why I gave him this one. So don't. Look, again, I'm not giving it to you as a gift. There you go, man. Hell no.
They haven't been used in years. So if you want them, you can take them.
So, man, guys, we got a lot of viewers really quick. That's cool. If you guys have any freaking questions, man. If y'all have any questions that y'all want to ask anybody, I don't care what it is, put it on here. We'll try to get to your comments and go about it. As I told the gentleman before we started, I don't have a script. I told myself that I was going to write a script for this week's episode, but I didn't. And the reason I did is because that's just not me. Like, I'm not going to sit here and I just told him that I can go from, hey, where you from, to, hey, what's your mom cooking tomorrow? That's just me. Like, I'm scatterbrained. So just bear with us, man. We're here to hang out. If y'all have a drink, we all have a drink of choice. Some of us are a little healthier than others. I won't mention any names, Sean, but he's drinking a Topo Chico. What are you drinking?
Right now, Modelo and then whiskey.
So before we get into serious business, tell me why the white guy calls us today. Mike, what kind of beer you want, bro? He said, I'll bring my own beer, bro. Don't worry about it, because you be drinking that Mexican shit. He shows up to my door, and this fool's got a Modelo, dog.
Hey, man.
Come on, bro.
I mean, it is what it is.
Come on,
it's
man.
my soccer drink.
Come on. So, we'll go into a little bit of stuff. So we all know that right now our country, to me, is
What do
in.
they do?
What's that?
What do they do?
Oh yeah, Sean, real quick. I know we just kind of introduced who you were. Let the audience know what you actually do for a living.
So I am a independent Herbalife distributor. So I work in nutrition. I have a rather large team. We have a lot of nutrition clubs all over Texas. We have some in other places in the country. I've just been blessed to be able to help people get healthy every day, but also have a large team where I have to deal with a lot of different personalities, a lot of different feedback, a lot of opinions, but nonetheless, it's been a blessing to make a difference in people's lives every single day, which is how I met Bumper. I didn't introduce him to the business. I signed up somebody that signed up somebody that signed up Bumper, but that's the beautiful thing about what I do. I get to meet amazing people like Bumper and his outstanding family.
Got a musk on your beard, bro.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's protein.
That's it.
Manny, if you don't want to say what you do, that's cool too, bro.
No, it's cool. Like I said, you all know, I'll tell you my story, but since getting out in 2013, I bounced around 3 different jobs, not like really quick, but I've been in the alcohol business, went into the construction business, and now I'm in the pharmaceutical distribution business. So I'm the operations manager for a company called Animal Health International, who's actually acquisition by Patterson Companies Dental. We provide any product for anything from animal health to feeding to to the dental side as far as taking care of that. So I've been doing that for already going on 3 years and enjoy it. So look forward to continuing.
You see what I mean? You're gonna get these right here. This guy's hard right here. We're already getting.
Already, man.
I don't believe a white person can experience racism. I beg to differ.
And who is he?
I beg to differ. He's one of my old Marines right there.
Now let's
Hi,
learn
I'm
about
Bumper.
Mike.
I've been talking to you for the last 7 weeks. Mike, what do you do?
Yeah, I retired out of the Navy in 2018, and right now I'm doing security for San Antonio's professional soccer team.
Special soccer team?
San Antonio
Professional soccer team.
What's the name of the team?
San Antonio FC.
I didn't hear you say that.
.com. Look it up.
Got new uniforms.
Yeah, but we wore once.
So, people are getting harsh already. They want to get like, we already had a comment already. If you guys that are following, somebody already put, they don't believe that a Caucasian or a white American can what did he say?
Experience
racism, right?
He just did.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's
you just attacked him for being Caucasian.
yeah. Well, I'm saying, like, you're experiencing racism.
I do feel attacked.
So,
Do I play Karen for the evening?
no. So check it out, Mike. With that, that's a comment. That's what I want to hear right there. That's kind of what I want to see. Questions, right? With that being said, bro, I find that to be kind of wrong, and the reason I say that is because I know your background and I know who you're married to. People don't know who you're married to, right? Unless they're your friends on Facebook, they really don't know who you're actually married to.
Yeah.
But I know you're married to a very strong Dominican woman, right? Oh, she even made him wear the shirt, bro.
She bought this for my 40th birthday.
And she made him wear it.
She didn't make me wear it tonight, but she was like, "Oh, yeah, all right, that's good."
So you guys, this is directed to Marcus De La Fuentes. You might find this not to be maybe in your book of being, him going through racism, but how did you feel going to your in-laws' house for the first time? Or meeting that side of the family, and I'm sure you're the only freaking white dude there.
No. My father-in-law's white.
Shit, well, you see?
So, man, I thought you knew me better than that.
There you, damn.
No, I mean, as far as answering the question, or saying that you don't believe white people can experience racism, I kind of have a different take on that. I don't know how to answer that because I believe racism. When people hear the word racism, they automatically assume something bad or negative. I believe racism can also be done in a positive way too. Like, you can afford that. You know what I mean? Like you can, and it's not everybody can experience racism. I mean, racism in its definition is treating someone different based solely on their race.
Yep.
If you're treated differently, and that's the basis of the different treatment, have I experienced racism? If I have, I didn't recognize it. If I
That's
have,
a good point.
I don't know. I don't think I have. Personally, I've seen it, but I don't think I've experienced it.
And since you lived here in San Antonio, I always say this.
So they're asking what part of San Antonio you live in because it matters, apparently.
Oh, there we go.
The same person that asked him that question asked that question.
Well, me personally, actually, like, most people go from like poor to rich. I did the opposite. So, and my dad passed away when I was 6. Before he passed away, I lived on 2 acres of land. I had horses. I wore cowboy boots half the time. I rode horses, and that was my life. My dad was black, very black. But when he passed away, he owed the IRS like $200,000, and they took away our house. My mom didn't have to work. And once she started having to work, of course, the IRS took away our house. We were poor. I lived in a very, very bad part of the northeast side, and I basically struggled my whole life. So I can kind of talk from both ends, but I remember in middle school, I went to an all-white middle school. My mom wanted to keep me in that middle school because it was a better school, and I was one of 5 black people in that school. And you can see how light I am, but I remember back in the day, I would look down at my hand next to my white friend's hands, and I would think I was very, very dark, and I would not want to go into the sun. So with that said, that's where I grew up. Now I live in a very nice area of 151. I have a very, very nice house. I won't tell you how much it costs, but I've been blessed because I blessed myself. But I mean, I will say that, what Mike said is that, he doesn't feel like he's ever experienced racism. Of course, I feel like I've experienced racism most of my life, even though and honestly from both sides, from black people and from white people, because I am mixed.
That's what I was going to ask you, because
yeah,
I see that sometimes, especially when people are mixed, like for the African American, you're not black enough, and for the white person, well, you got black in you, so you're not white.
Exactly.
I get that. Have you ever, like, living here, maybe in your younger years, did you ever get pulled over by a cop or something that kind of like made you go home and maybe you see it all the time in memes, you see it all the time in commercials where I posted one the other day of Winslow. You remember I played that plenty of times where he comes home and the cops mess with him and his dad's a cop, right? Have you ever had any of that happen to you? Like get pulled over and you just felt uncomfortable the whole time?
1000%. Before Instagram, before social media, when it was actually cool to be outside with your friends, I mean, I remember being in high school. We were just walking around the neighborhood. Me and my black friends. We had the token white guy with us, Mike. And, but we like to just walk around different neighborhoods around my area over Starfish Drive, northeast side in San Antonio. And one time we got pulled over by cops, and they immediately assumed we had weed on us, and we didn't. They put us against the fence. They searched us. They were very rude to us. They antagonized us, and it's almost like they were trying to get a reaction out of us. And that's just one out of many times. So have I experienced that from police? Absolutely. Have I experienced amazing cops? Yes, I have. So again, I see it from both sides, but I mean, there is definitely some cops out there that just see race, and it's unfortunate. And there's a lot of people out there that just see race, whether they want to say it or not, and they judge me whether it's my tattoos or my skin color. That's what happens.
We kind of talked on tattoos last week a little bit with my buddy Renee. Shout out to my boy Renee and his wife. We're praying for you guys. You know,
She was diagnosed.
I think watching what we saw this week, as far as you know, the cop putting his knee on his neck. I don't want people to get mad at me, but I think if the guy was like fidgeting around, kicking, trying to throw punches, and he was holding him down, you know, knee on his neck, trying to detain the guy, right? But when you see the guy kneeling, right, kneeling down, and then his hand is in his pocket, that right there, just like that threw me well over the pond there. You know, to see his hand in his pocket, and then they interviewed the guy who was filming it. One of the guys that was filming. They interviewed him, and they asked him, when you were there, what were you telling the cop? And he was telling the cop, hey, he can't breathe. Like, he's detained. He's handcuffed. He's handcuffed. He's not resisting arrest. And yet, you know what the dude did to him? If you watch, he turns his face. Doesn't even want to see him. He can't even look at the dude in his face. You know, but you got the balls to put your knee on somebody's neck like that. You know, that really drove me nuts. Manny, so you grew up in Los Angeles?
No, I grew up in San Diego.
San Diego? Oh, so, bro. Tijuana or what?
Pretty much, yeah. So pretty much, you know, like I said, I came from a different lifestyle. I really never experienced racism. Obviously, in San Diego, we're so multicultural with, you know, Asians, Mexicans, whites, blacks. I never saw it. My first experience of racism didn't happen until I joined the Marine Corps. That's where I got the first time the experience, you know, and it was something different. You know, I wasn't used to, you know, the name callings of the N-words and, you know, the ages being called certain words. Cause, you know, being from California, you know, you don't see that, you know, like, yeah, we all witnessed the LA riots in, you know, in the early 1990s, and, you know, it was a white cops beating down a black, but I mean, I don't, you know, although that was racism, that was an isolated incident that, you know, that sparked a large debate that I guess people that really weren't holding grudges at that time allowed the protesters to start coming out and displaying hate and discontent towards the way that other people were treated. You know, obviously, like I said, and it's a whole different thing to me, you know, and while in the Marine Corps throughout my 20 years, you know, I saw it all the way up into the higher echelons of your, you know, field grade officers and flag officers who, you know, no matter what, are still, you know, you could see and you can feel and you knew that, you know, there was racial tensions going towards specific people.
In the military?
In the military, you know, and you know, I have friends of mine that are currently right now online right now listening, and you know, some of these guys actually were some of the ones that were attacked by these people, you know, and we all see it. You know, you have, you know, your typical person, like I said, that, you know, like myself, I never got the opportunity during my junior years to go ahead and go on any type of meritorious boards.
I gotta stop you, bro. I have to stop you. This comment. The fans have said you obviously have been discriminated against. He's a damn Dallas Cowboy fan. So you have been discriminated in some sort, some way, right? Well, there you go. So, me being a military guy too, you know, I can kind of see what he said. I try to. Growing up, I grew up in a small town, man. Somebody made a comment today. Won't mention no names, right? But we don't realize because we don't live in a city. There's not racism. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, man. If you grew up in South Texas in a little ranch community, I promise you. Hey, how you doing, Lana? Welcome to the show. That's my daughter, Lana. If you guys
She's
don't know.
the number one viewer, y'all.
Trying
She's
to
the
not
bartender.
disrupt.
You may forget what the hell I was talking about. Yeah, so growing up in a small town, you know, kind of leads me to where I want to go to
No,
with,
he's on private.
Mike here. Mike grew up actually about 30 miles, Mike, or 18 miles? 18? About 30 miles from my hometown. He grew up in a town called George West, Texas. And any of my people following or are going to watch later on, everybody knows what George West is, right? If you're traveling from San Antonio to Corpus Christi on 37, you touch the edge of it, right?
You just stop to get gas.
Yeah, you stop right there at the 59 and 37 intersection. That's where he's from, man. Hey, you're the town with the big ass stuffed bull in the glass, right?
Yeah, it's a long one.
It's a fucking bull, bro.
It's a longhorn, man.
You know. So, Mike, growing up in a small town, right? Growing up in a small town, you growing up there in that community, how did you see what's going on in the world today? Can you take that into your small town?
Well, I mean, so I moved down to that town when I was about 14. So I was already in high school. I was already doing other stuff.
You moved from where?
Odessa.
Oh shit! Real. That's a real Caucasian town. Not now.
Not now.
No.
Not now.
Why? Because it's oil? You calling it black town or what?
No.
You're a racist son of a bitch.
I
bro.
really am, but you invited me, and you knew
That's
it.
right.
You knew
It's
it.
all good.
You knew that.
But no, in George West, I mean, from what I saw, even looking back, I mean, everybody pretty much was good with everybody. I mean, you did have your pockets of, like, people, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, I've definitely seen worse in other places, that's for sure. But we were too rural, really. We were too rural.
In George West?
Yeah, the only time we ever saw each other was at school.
So you could tell them to
But
send a request and I'll
growing
accept
up
them
in
because I think that's
school,
what it
like,
is. I just
growing
got a
up in
couple
school,
of them.
Did you while you were growing up in school,
Let me get my charger.
did you see racism?
Well, I mean,
You're talking about George West.
I don't know.
George
That was
West.
20 years ago, man. I don't know. I mean, I was too busy chasing Mexican girls. I mean, so.
That's always been your preference.
That's always been my preference.
So those of y'all watching from all over the United
Ah,
States,
shit, here we go.
you know, he just said something that's common. It's a common thing, you know. Around here, Caucasian guys, for example, Sean, have you ever been to a quinceanera?
Yes.
Man, you ever been to a quinceanera?
Oh, many a times.
Mike, have you ever been in a quinceanera?
Every one of my girlfriends turned 15.
So there you go. Like, so that's what I was kind of going at in the beginning of the show. Like, here in South Texas, I think the racism exists. It exists in small towns. It exists in big cities. But I think we're so, in a way, we're so melted in some ways. But when you go to start talking to old timers, sometimes old timers are set in their ways, man. And I see that more in the rural communities than I actually do in the cities. One, maybe because I don't know, maybe too many old timers that live in the city, growing up in Beeville. A lot of the old timers that they grew up.
You think Beeville's a city? That's cute.
I said Beeville's a town, bro.
You said growing up in the city in Beeville.
No, I mean being here in the city, not knowing enough people, right? And being from a small town. Some of the old timers,
The rancho.
the ranchos,
Small.
they're set in their ways, bro. They really are. They're set in their ways. You know, I can tell you, and I'm not going to mention names, but you know, there's people that always say, "Oh, you know, I'm not racist. I'm not racist." But the minute and my viewers that are watching, man, commenting on this right here. You know, I see this all the time. I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist.
I have a black friend.
I got a black friend. You got to justify.
Okay, so
That doesn't mean you're not racist.
hang on. So I got something. So the people that I see, I'm not racist. As like the guy who goes, "Who farted? It was you."
Yeah.
You're racist.
To say that,
No, I'm just kidding.
So to say I'm not racist, like, why do you feel like you have to say that?
Exactly.
Why is that even? Need to be
If you're
said?
defending
Just, yeah,
that,
if you're defending something, like.
That's
don't
strong,
even-
dude.
Don't even say it.
That's
Don't
true.
even say it. Why do you need to say it? Just.
It goes to, you were saying earlier about the riots and stuff. I'm a touchy-feely guy.
Yeah, I thought you were pointing at him.
Uh,
I don't know who you're
I hear the footwear does that. Make sure.
No.
You son of a bitch.
I told you.
So for my people watching, this is an inside joke. I'm wearing Toms again, and they're giving me a hard time because I'm wearing Toms.
What do you mean?
I'm
what do you mean?
I'm
by
wearing
people?
Toms, bro.
Hey.
Toms, right? Toms. Here they are, right
For-
here.
for-
Haters.
for my-
What do you mean by my people? Like, what does that mean?
Oh no, you maybe you forget which.
For my gay people.
Shit, man, I swear to
What
God.
do you mean my people? My people that are watching. My people. Like, no, Lord.
Don't be a dictator.
You know, but it really is, it's true, man. Like, I know so many people, like, I'm not racist. I either one, I got a black friend, or, how many times do you watch those videos? How many times you see the videos where they put somebody on the spot? I'm not a racist. I got a black niece.
Yeah.
Why?
My niece is half Indian, half Cherokee, half... Why the fuck do we need to know that?
And why is a black friend mean you're not
Yeah.
racist? Like,
Yeah.
Why can't it be, I have Mike, he's a
You can
white
have nothing
friend.
but white family members or people in your life and still not be racist.
exactly. Like, why? Like, I don't understand.
But
and
dude-
and you can still be a racist and have family members of other races.
1,000%.
The point is that no
Hello?
matter what, you know what?
Hello.
I don't care who you are. Everyone in this world has said something racist,
Yes.
and you can't say you haven't.
Yep.
And if you do, you're a damn fucking
I know
liar.
one person who has it.
Bullshit.
Dorian Yeomans. Look him
No.
up.
Whatever. No.
He's a legend.
He
Dorian
never
Yeomans.
has.
No.
I promise you.
I promise you.
Were you
to.
with
I
him the
put
whole
that
entire
on
time?
all my
Were you
children.
with him when he was locked up into a room by himself?
Hey, you know what? If he said it, I mean, if he thought it, I guarantee you he didn't say it. And I, you know what?
But if he
He,
thought it,
he didn't think it though.
What do you think about when you hear it drives me nuts? And sometimes I think it was my son. It was either Jesse or one. He just asked like, "Dad, why do you get mad because we say that,
Say what?
nigga?"
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
Like,
Okay,
but
but that's where it has to come. But that's where it has to start with my people first, right? Like we as African Americans and Black people have to stop using it so loosely because all it's doing is breeding other people to feel comfortable with saying it. But at the same time, I do also feel like me and my people, you know what I'm saying, black, when I say my people, Black people, have earned the right to say it because when we say it, it is, and so this might sound racist, but when I hear my black friends say nigga, I don't think like, oh, he's saying it some type of bad way. But I will be honest, when I hear like a white person or even brown people say it over extremely, like too much, you know what I'm saying, then I do feel some type of way like.
But they
it's
say
almost
with
like, who
the
gave you that
or
okay?
with the
Well, of course the
Because
is a problem.
now in the world that we
Even
live
the
in, now in the world we live
Even
in,
the
the
is way too much.
and the make a huge difference.
No, I agree. The and the is a huge difference, but I'm talking strictly on the And if it's used like if I hear a Mexican or brown person say it more than like 3 times in a minute, then that's just too much. It's just too, you know what I'm saying? Like fall back. You know what I'm saying? Like just chill. But if I hear them say, you know, here and there, and I know how they are, and I know the person that they are, they're just not going to bother me because I know them.
I don't
But
think that
it
there's
just-
any situation that calls.
I agree.
A white person. I'm just speaking for white. You want to go for it. But I don't think there's any situation that calls for me to say that.
No.
It's just like calling a woman the C
But
word.
what I'm
And
saying
I
is,
don't call a woman the C word.
young people, it's part of their
It's a real
culture.
situation.
Yeah.
Mike, but I get what you're saying. But you're old school. We're already in our 40s. We're beyond.
Hey, I'm a fresh 40.
Okay, bro.
I'm
But I'm being real. Like we're beyond that. When you hear 20-year-olds and teenagers
This is
say,
why Cabrón Mancia at my house.
Why do they?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, and I mean, what I've experienced it because I'm older too. I'm 37. But what I see now in this new generation coming up is it's just like saying bro. Or it's saying
it is.
You know,
that's what it's got to.
Yeah, that's
but
what it's got to.
why do African Americans get mad? Like, okay, let me put it. I'm gonna paint a picture, right? So you guys are chilling, right? Everything's cool, right? Say you're doing a pickup game of basketball, bunch of young kids out there throwing the N-word around like it's cool, right? Black, whites, Hispanics, that's their culture. That's the way they say, right? But the minute that a freaking white guy or a brown guy gets mad and uses the same word, right? Sometimes the might go to earth.
Yeah. That's why you avoid the situation down
the might go to earth. That shit escalates right away.
Well, see, on the basketball,
but somebody had a comment on here. Somebody had a comment on here that said, what justifies anybody just like even what justifies you giving me the right to
look? Honestly, if you do the research, and I mean I've seen it before. It's been a while, but what it became is that back in the day, around the time that black people got their freedom, I don't want to sound uneducated, but I've heard this before. It's like the black people started using it as a word, a way of endearment. So we took the word nigger from the white people and people who had slave owners, and we took it as a word of endearment for ourselves to our people, and it was like our thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we feel like we have that right. It's our thing. Now, but I'll say this: if I met a black person today, I was like, "What's up, my nigga?" and he had a problem with that, I would totally understand. I would never say it again. You know what I'm saying? So it's just respecting each other. But if he says it, then I'm gonna feel like, okay, well, he's okay. He's cool. But again, he has that right. It's just like, I mean, this is different things, and unfortunately, again, that's where it might sound racist because I feel like black people should be able to say it and other races shouldn't. But it's just one of those things.
So do you think that I'm a bad father by getting onto my kids for ever using that word, regardless?
I think you're an amazing father.
Because I mean, if you've ever been to my house, anybody that knows me, you ever come to my house, bro? Here we go, right? We gotta say, I got a black friend, but no, all my kids as friends, 90% of them are African American, right? And I know they say that. I hear my son on the video game all the time. Right?
And
it's
music.
It's part of their language. Somebody read it right here. So it's a gosh darn music that they listen to, right? One comment that came out to me says, "How come white people don't season their food? What's up with that shit?"
Okay.
I'm just saying. That's
okay.
crazy.
Who said that?
You know what said that? It's Bowden, and check it out. His name is Bowden, but he's half Mexican, half white, but he looks more white than Mexican.
Hey. Mayonnaise is a spice.
I agree.
No.
It's a tenderizer.
Here's the deal. So white people spice their food. See, there's a lot of things when it comes to race. I think, with my experience being in the military and all of that, and growing up in South Texas, where George West at that time, I believe, was more like 60-40 Mexican-white. We were the minority, I believe, at that time in George West. At least it felt like it. So I believe it's more about race, less about race, more about culture. So like when people were like, "Oh, my mom beat me with a chancla," so did mine. My mom beat me with a hanger, so did mine. Like, I look, man.
But your mom didn't call it a chancla. She called it a flip flop.
There you go.
Right?
Sandal.
Yeah.
And your mom called
She
it
called it a duck.
So what do you call when you have two flip flops but they're both the left side?
Tops.
No. No. What do you call two flip flops when you only have the two left feet? They're called flip flips.
Flip.
Yeah, because
Did you
you
just
got
come up with that?
Yeah,
He did.
Yeah, I think it's more, and I realized that when I joined the Navy. Like, a lot of people, it depends on where you're from. I met a lot of white people from like the Chicago area, Bronx, that quote unquote acted more black than some black people I met because of the environment they were raised in.
Yes.
So I think it's more about. I know people like that today. So I think it's more about the where you're
Twisted
raised.
Sister out of nowhere.
I know, right?
Dude, what are you doing, bro?
But I just know you're raising your kid right.
As my son comes in a hoverboard listening to Twisted Sister. Turn it down real quick.
Turn it down. Where's your iPad?
So when people ask, what does San Antonio like? there's a Mexican boy on a hoverboard listening to Twister Sister.
He's not lying.
On his way to go get a churro or a margarita.
I'm glad you said that because if you follow my buddy Sean on any kind of social media, you catch this fool singing country music.
Love country.
But
Well, I have black friends of mine right here.
No,
that
but
listen to Los Tigres del Norte.
But I say that with love. I say that with love because you know what?
Ours too.
Why can't you? Why can't you listen to country music? But you know what? I think that's just the way kind of the social media and a lot of people have made it sound we can't do a certain thing. You can't listen to country music because you're black.
I listen to country
Let me
music.
tell y'all something. If you ever heard the song by George Strait,
Not Old Town Road. No,
Yeah, Old Town Road.
no, shut the hell up, by George Strait, bro.
Maybe got back.
No.
We got back.
So, Jamie Foxx, check YouTube.
Yes.
You look so good in
So
love.
good in love.
There's only one person that sings that song better than freaking George Strait, and that's Jamie Foxx,
So good
hands
in
down.
And he sang it at the
At
tribute
tribute to George Strait.
and he was sitting there listening to that dude. That was so.
And he said, "You know what, George? You have black friends. You have black fans too."
Hey guys, if you're trying to get a girl, Jamie Foxx, she looks so good in love.
just come over here.
That is smooth.
Just get out. Go over here.
I'm trying to see.
Yeah.
Take it over there because we can't hear.
So somebody put. Unfortunately, the cultural thing is more. What do you think, Sean? This. Now you know what. You've answered this. I'm gonna go to you. What do you think about that? What do you think about it being some? It's a legit comment.
What's up?
Unfortunately, a lot of the in stuff comes from music, the hip hop scene. You know, I've said it on these before. You know, people listen to it and it just becomes part of. They're not saying it in a derogatory way. You know what I mean?
Right.
What do you think? Your kids listen.
Look,
Your kids listen to hip hop.
my kids listen to all that hip hop stuff, and I don't like it. I listen to country myself, and Mexican music. So, and like he was saying, you know, like that's what society is, and it's been like that since like the early '80s with NWA, and you know, it's all derogatory, and you know, the Two Live Crew, and you know, I mean, you name it, it was used with, and it continues to use because that's the tradition. No matter what, you got to continue using and
Good
know,
point,
those
Rudy.
roots.
Because I grew up in that kind of neighborhood.
What's that?
He said, so what about whites and Mexicans that grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood where they were 1% to 4% minority and grew up using that word?
Marcus De La Fuentes.
No, Rudy, but
Oh yeah,
Rudy.
him too. Yeah, you grew
But
up with it too.
I didn't grow up using that word because my friends educated me and their parents educated me and our parents educated us that we don't use that word. And they didn't use that word. And so if you did call somebody that, it was because you were referring to this person in a bad way. Like he was a bad person.
So let me ask you this: do you feel like the parents who did it instilled that into their kids were somewhat racist,
Like to use the word?
or like it was okay? Because you said your parents instilled it to you not to use that word.
Oh, to not use the word. Yeah.
The parents, some parents don't. They don't care. You know
So
what I'm
it's called learned behavior. If you grow up with your parents using that word in that bad way or in that form, that's what how you're gonna use it. And I say this because our kids grew up in Florida. I mean, in California, in a sense, on a base.
Oh, always.
You know, but I mean, it was like different races. You know how the military is. But when they came here and all their friends, they went to school on base. 95% of their friends were African Americans. They used the word, so the kids used the word. So to us, it was a problem. You know why? Because Dorian, who Bumper mentioned earlier, has lived with us ever since Jackie was a baby. He doesn't live. He bought a house and moved, he lives on the other side of 35 now. So he's African American, and I didn't allow my kids to use that word because it wasn't offensive to him because he was like, it's okay. But it was offensive to me for my kids to use that word in front of him. And so that's why I told my kid, and I'm telling you, when I tell you this man literally helped us raise our kids, like he was there, you know, he took them where they needed to go. You know, if we both were at work and he was home, we were like each other's backup. My kids consider him their uncle. Because basically, I'm telling you, he was living with us since Jackie was a baby. But yeah,
Somebody brought this to you. not to you directly, but I want to hear your comment on it. It was good. It says, why can't it just be music? Why does it have to be associated with race? Before I give it to you, no. Like, just, using the N-word, like, why does it have to be, well, 99% of the people putting that music on are black. Yeah. Well, what's your...
No, I mean, I agree 100%. I mean, you don't hear any non-black people really using the word nigga. I can't even, I'm a big fan of Eminem, and I can't really recall him saying it to me times other than in 8 Mile when he was trying to be funny. But
exactly,
you know what I'm saying? But most people in the music industry have enough respect not to say that. So I saw one comment on Manny's, and where they had a very good point. I mean, like I said when I first addressed it, was that as a whole, black people, I mean, if we expect other people not to use it, then we got to stop using it.
You got to stop using yourself.
But have I probably said it today? Probably. You know, I'm going to be very honest and open. So I might be part of the problem, but again, you know, it is what it is. It starts with us. It starts with the people.
You know, and you see it all the way in Hollywood. You know, like perfect example. You know, like you got the BET Awards. Why does it have to be the Black Entertainment Awards? Yeah. You know, what happens if we made the White Awards?
They do. They got the Grammys.
No, that's no. I don't even want to know. Like, I don't want to know. Like, so how would you feel? Just keep on with your comment. Yeah. How would you feel if somebody came and said, you know, we're going to do the White Award, but there is the White Award. Do you know what it's called? The CMAs.
That's not your music
That's
awards.
not true. That's
no. Okay.
No.
Yeah, Cowboy Troy.
Okay.
You had who else?
Darius Rucker.
Yeah. Okay. Rudy and the Blowfish.
Okay. So what?
He's light skinned.
So that's what I'm saying, though. But they're using a color. Why are they using a color?
Because that's the name of the.
So why can't that be? You know, if we turned around and
that's you, bro.
If we turned around and made the White Awards, it would be racist. Who participates in the black?
So as soon as you said
every other award.
I want you to understand is that you have to understand the black people's struggle, right? And when you really, and I'm saying, and y'all have had y'all's own struggle as Mexican Americans,
of course.
So if y'all had them, and the thing is, do you feel like black people would ever question there being the Mexican Entertainment Awards? We wouldn't.
Nope.
That's the thing.
We have them.
We would support it.
They're called Tejano Music Awards.
Because we support it. Or Latino.
Don't get me started on the Latino.
So that, and I think that's, and honestly, I think that's the difference. Never would I ever question, well, how would y'all feel if there was a white American? Well, I wouldn't. I'm simply focused on the fact that me as a black person, because I am black, no matter what, we have earned that right to have our own awards. Now, I'm pretty sure Eminem has been mentioned in some of those awards. So it's not like it's just black people, but you're effing right. I'm happy that there is the black award because we've earned it. Our struggle.
So my question going back to you, how would you feel if there was an award that said White Music Awards? Personally, how would you feel?
Honestly, I don't think it'd be a problem. I'm pretty sure. What's his name? Kane Smith? Kane? What's that black guy's name? Kane? He's a country singer. Kane.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I bet he would win some of those awards. And the thing is, I mean, and honestly, there wouldn't. I mean, I don't know.
It's in Latin Grammys, but then you have Panamanians. What if Panamanians?
I know. That's a sore subject. Don't talk about the Latin Grammys.
No, but see, this is what I think BET Awards came out because they weren't getting the recognition that they deserved. On any other music platform, and any other music, it is because when you see the Grammys, they don't sit there and you have Mexican artists or Latino artists that are winning awards, but do you ever see them televised?
Yeah.
Hell no.
That's why I don't like to talk
Hell
about the
no.
Latino awards.
They don't get televised. So
on Telemundo they do.
No, you show the Latin Music Awards. It's going to be all reggaeton.
Yes.
It's going to be salsa merengue. But 90% of the music also is regional Mexican, and we don't even get aired on national TV.
You know when Selena got nominated a Grammy?
I thought you were going to say we don't get aired on the radio. I'm like, have you ever taken a road trip? From here to San Diego?
So I want to go to one I saw that was let's see, I saw it here somewhere.
My sister said the same thing because black people have a culture and it's not taken serious in other music awards, and it's not exactly what I just said.
Seriously now. It is.
Okay, but black.
90% of the music being played today, 90% is what?
That's because it
No.
sells. It sells.
It
That
sells.
doesn't mean it's taken serious.
It's
And that's
make-
something you gotta understand the difference. It sells, so there's a lot of white people in corporate America that want to make money off of it.
Yes,
But in the-
exactly.
but we
The record
Yeah,
label
but
is
the record
making
label
money,
makes
and that's
but they
why.
don't take it serious.
Yes.
But that we talked about that earlier. That like there's already somebody on my buddy's comments, right, with the E and the A, because one is because you're more blacker or what? That doesn't.
That's stupid.
That's not. I don't agree with
Yeah,
that.
I don't
I don't agree with
You
that.
want to know the white take?
Look,
on ET?
see, somebody just said exactly.
I want to hear what the Caucasian American.
The Caucasian delegation.
Yeah, I want to hear what you guys think about the
Okay,
BET Awards.
on BET Awards and the Latin Music Awards and all that, here's the white perspective. Who gives a shit? Let people have their thing, man.
Yeah.
If you don't like BET, then don't watch it.
And then,
If you don't want to watch it, you have a clicker. You got 6,000 other channels and other stuff. Then don't watch it. You know, and don't. This is all bullshit.
But
You
say that.
Turn the
You
channel,
say
man.
that. You say that. But there's other white Americans that don't have that same mentality. To them, is why
And
does
I
it
think
even
it's
exist?
I think it's exposure. It's exposure.
I think it's the media.
That too. But I think it's exposure.
Why?
People aren't exposed to other cultures. Everyone lives in their bubble. I've been to at least, last I counted, 13 countries. Exposure. Exposure. Like, get out and see other things. Go travel, because you will be given a different perspective. Like, just go.
I agree with that.
You know, you don't even need to leave Texas or wherever the state you're in. Go to somewhere else. Like, go. Like me, I did it as a joke. I went into a barber shop in Norfolk, Virginia, and with my buddy John Nelson, black dude, and I went into a black barber shop, sat down and opened a Jet magazine to see what would happen in Norfolk, Virginia. They asked me what kind of haircut I want.
What'd you say?
I just need a fade. But I joked on him, said, "Now, are you used to cutting his hair? Because mine's a little ethnic, you know?" And they laughed about it. I mean, I got, like, just,
Because they didn't take it serious.
no, step outside your comfort zone, man. Like, I think it's exposure. And you go back to small towns, when you're raised in a small town and your bubble is this big and it's all white people, yeah, you don't see the other perspective. All you see is what's going on the media and the news, and that's not what's really going on. That is,
So I say this, and I'll go to you, Sean, and I'm gonna go to you. The two minorities here, right? I'm taking myself out as being the host, right? If the headline would have said Latino cop killed white man, put his knee on his neck, and killed him on camera. I want your honest opinion, both of you. Your honest opinion. Would it be as big as it is right now with what happened to Mr. Floyd? Sean?
My honest opinion, not as big as it is now. But again, the reason why is because white people haven't been oppressed as much as black people have.
Yep. Very
Black
good.
people are fed up. Black people are tired. We've been going through this. I mean, I've experienced, my family experienced. You know what I'm saying? So we've been going through this for a very long time, and it's like building up. It's like when you keep something inside for so long, and you don't express it, and then finally when you express it, it just comes out. You start crying. You're angry. You want to hit a wall. You want to hit something, just to release that energy. That's what it is. So that's where it comes from. Is it okay? Some of the stuff that's going on, absolutely not.
I understand
but
that.
that's what it is.
But why the violence? Why not protest peacefully? Why not protest? You know, the police brutality happened by the police, right? Why not go and protest in front of police officers?
Oh, they did.
Judicial.
They did. They burned that goddamn precinct down.
Yeah, I understand that. But what is the black community? You see on Facebook, black communities getting burned down, black businesses being burned down. What do they have to do with a white cop killing a black person?
Before he answers, you saw here in San Antonio, we just talked about before.
I saw
Who
that,
was
bro.
doing that?
I get it, but I also see black people in the group, and they're not stopping it. I also see it. You know, it happens, you know, like there's ways.
frustration.
I'm all about, to me it's what happened was wrong, and that dude should get the electric chair. Like there is
all three of them got arrested.
It's black and white, But like I said, you do see it. Like you asked a question, like would it be the same if something happens? Would it get as much media?
Hell no.
Just about a week and a half ago, I showed my wife a video of a 23-year-old guy that got put into a elderly home. The guy was like 85 years old, and you have this black guy, 26-year-old, pummeling this old man, white guy, in bed, throwing him off his bed, gets on top of him, and he's hitting him, calling him white piece of shit. Old man is fucking bloody. Tell me what that old man did to deserve that beating.
But do we know?
Do we know? He was bedridden, bro.
No. But bedridden. But did he say something? Did he say? Because again, we'll go back to what I said earlier.
So it's justified.
No. I'm not saying that it's justified.
No. It doesn't matter what he said. It's not justified.
Right. You're still a younger guy. You should have taken a different road.
Because at that point, then what did George Floyd say to the cop? I could say the same thing.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Right. It doesn't matter. No matter what, you
period.
should not use physical violence towards anybody, no matter what. No matter what. And especially an elderly person, 80 years old, bro. We all know we start babies and we finish as babies. We start as in diapers, we finish in diapers.
Is that like Benjamin Button in the movie?
You see more, but you just don't get smaller. You get bigger with bigger shits.
Gotcha.
Here's the deal, and I told this to a friend of mine.
And bigger white bees and diapers.
I went and had a beer with my black friend, and I told her, I said, I don't mean to put you down, but or to offend you in any way with this, but I don't think you understand how bad that video actually was. And she was like, what? I said, listen, I spent 20 years in the military. I've done a lot of shit that I'm happy I did, shit I'm not proud of, stuff like that. We've all done that. I've been overseas more times than I can count.
But you're in the Navy.
Never I was in the Navy, so it was a little bit easier. Jackass. Never. I've dealt with apprehending people, zip tying them, throwing them in the back of Humvees, all that stuff. I've had to do that with people that were just shooting at me 5 minutes ago. I've never been trained to put my foot, or anything on someone's neck. Now, I'm also medically trained, so I know once that guy started bleeding out of his nose, he's gone. There ain't no coming back. From the pressure, from the intracranial pressure, you're done. And never. I put my knee on between the shoulder blades while the Marines patted him down and zip tied him, and then we picked him up and put him in the vehicle.
Immediately.
How is it that in the military, we can do that with someone that was just shooting at us, and they can't compose themselves in Minneapolis, in the United States?
When you say that, are you going to the police? Are you talking about the police?
Yeah.
How come the
I can
police
tell you,
can't
I'll
control
answer that.
themselves?
It's called accountability.
Accountability.
Okay, it's accountability because here's what happens. What happened to the Marine or Army guy that threw a puppy over the cliff? What happened to the Marines that pissed on the dead corpse of guys that they had killed? They all got prosecuted on UCMJ.
Yep.
They crushed them.
Yep.
They made an example of them. But you know what?
Yes.
Police,
They do lack accountability.
And when they do, no matter what they do, they get charged and then they get acquitted.
Because
because they were justified, no matter what. But if you make an example,
because in the military we have DOD instructions. It is straight across the board, no matter what branch of service, no matter where you're at, whether you're in Afghanistan or Camp Pendleton, it is the same rules apply. In America, we have police departments that have varying SOPs. And so, like in Minnesota, I just saw today, I can't confirm it, but that according to the policies in place in Minneapolis, that guy did not go against any policy.
Dude, I had that. Stop it. I had somebody comment that the other day. I'm not going to mention any names, but somebody commented on my thing and said, according to their police, their police SOP, that's a proper use of
restraint.
But my thing is, a dude is handcuffed, bro.
Exactly.
Your hand is in your pocket.
Exactly.
He's not showing you any threat.
He's not a threat anyway. So.
I agree.
So real quick, one of my people watching my watch party, my boy Howard said, "Does anyone ask white college kids when they flip cars and burn them when they win big games for them to stop?"
Oh.
Again, culture.
And that,
that's rioting.
And that's
You know what?
That's rioting.
That's deep right there, bro.
I think my son,
Because and it gets out of hand.
experienced that during the
Yeah.
national.
People get killed.
Championship up in Lubbock.
The
They burned. They flipped over cars.
But does anybody talk about it?
And no.
In front of the
It wasn't a
LA
big
when the
deal.
Lakers win or whatever, they flip cards and shit the same.
And furthermore, to answer
But for the
question-
record, in San Antonio, we don't do that. We know how to freaking take
So
care
real
of shit.
quick,
We
to
don't burn
answer
down the
this
city.
question about violence and why do
Yeah.
black people have to get violent, it's because of how many times it's happened and it's not being addressed or taken care of. So, trust me, do I instill in my kids that violence is never the answer? You damn right. But if somebody hits my kid, I'm gonna tell them to knock the F out, and that's
I've done the
respect.
same.
So if you've done that,
Yeah, I've done the
that's
same.
what we as black people
Yeah.
are doing. And that's it.
Yeah.
So that answers your
But Sean,
question.
how do you feel about he brought it up and you really didn't to me you didn't go deep enough into
Yeah.
there. Like it aggravates me to see a black business owner who has spent their whole life savings, everything they have into whatever small business it is, whatever it is. And they loot it and they tear it up, right?
Told people to flip
Regardless
cars
of who's
because they had
doing it,
insurance.
the start of it was if it was starting peacefully or not,
Yeah.
right?
And I've seen some of those videos, and they hurt me, you know, and it, honestly, it hurts.
What
It
side
breaks
do
my
you fall
heart.
on? Like-
Yeah, it breaks my heart. You know what I'm saying? To see those people go through it. But that's where if America really cares about us as black people, if the government really cares about us as black people, then that's why this needs to be addressed. That's why there needs to be a Black Lives Matter Act. There needs to be or something. There needs to be something
You know, what needs
instilled
to happen
to
is
where
that-
everybody's not affected.
I think
because
what
this
needs
is
to
the cost.
happen is
Yeah.
the Justice Department needs to come out with one standard SOP for every police force in the nation.
Yeah.
No diverting. It's black or white. This is the way you're gonna do it. This is the way you're gonna train.
Won't
This is
never
what
happen.
it is.
Won't ever happen.
Because here it is. We got.
Yeah, you're nationally.
Well, you're not nationalizing. You're not
You're
nationalizing.
saying the train, but you got a point.
But you just said,
training wise.
you just said that some police department said that it was within this SOP. So how do you go ahead and not nationalize something to, so, you have to do it to make sure, because the police are there to protect who? They work for us.
Yeah.
They work for us. So,
My friend Kim,
yeah, so
is asking a question, and to give you some perspective, she's a white friend of mine. She has 3 black sons. Her husband's black. Hey Kim, hey how you doing? She said, if it was your child, how calm would you be?
Oh, I'd be livid.
I mean,
And I've said that to
if your
anybody
child-
who was against the protest. and
Regardless of color,
regardless of color.
it's your child, right?
Yeah.
It's your child.
We don't see our child as any kind of color.
Yeah.
It's our child.
Well, I don't see children.
No.
period. I think crimes against children.
But think
totally
about
wrong.
if our
That's a whole
country, if
different
our country
conversation.
would see each other as our own children, how different this place would be. Because that's huge.
Well, that's
You
where I
said,
grew up.
If you saw that,
Everybody
as one
looked
of
out
your
for each other's kids.
Even if
Even
you're
in the
80 years
military,
old and
we
now
all
is
looked
your
out for each other's
50-year-old
kids.
kid,
Took a village
he's
out
still
to
your
That's
kid.
right.
You're always going to be a parent.
And they
So
were allowed
everybody
to
in America
yell at my kids
would have that
as much as
same
I was allowed to yell at their kids.
thing,
Yeah.
and they don't. I just saw one today. She said, "Turn Jacob's show off in the background. You can hear it really, really clear."
Who said?
corruption? Police corruption.
I saw one in Laguna Niguel or something today where these guys were peacefully protesting, and this guy was brave. Don't mean to bring in politics, right? But this guy had a Trump flag, and he turns around and he tells the guys, "Fuck you! I wish you'd bring that shit to my neighborhood. We'll show you what fucking white boys are all about. We fucking hate niggers," and drove off. Straight up, that's what he said. And the guys were like, "Okay, cool, bro, whatever floats you." The guy drove off. But
okay, as a white guy,
what drives it was a white guy, two white guys.
Yeah, but as a white guy, and I've been asked this, stuff like that happens. They pull up to you, you're out walking with your family. And we had a forum on this. All the Spurs employees, we had an open forum on Monday. And we had Greg Popovich, we had everybody on there, and they were giving their spiel about different things, and they were allowing employees to it was great. It was great. Mm-hmm. And this woman was talking about how she was walking in her neighborhood with her family. They were a few houses away from their own house. This guy pulls up in a truck and slows down and yells out some racial epithet and then took off. And her 6-year-old daughter looked up at her and said, "Mom, what's a N-word?" So now she has to have that conversation with her 6-year-old daughter.
Who doesn't even know that. That's not even part of that thing.
And I'm like, for me, that white guy in the truck that did that, like, what is your end game? What is your goal by doing that? You drive up, you say N-word, fuck you, and you drive off. Like, what was the point of that? What's your point? What's your end game with that? Like, it's pointless.
Well, that's why we as parents, as people, as taking accountability and responsibility, that's why it starts with us, right? We have to instill in our kids and our family and your employees. You know what I'm saying? Like
you see those memes all the time where a white kid and a black kid are hugging in the playground.
The two kids that were right.
They don't know. It's just human beings, bro. It's top. It's top. Yeah. True. We can all agree on that. Yep. This is a great comment right here. It said, guys, what are your thoughts on the protest that happened in Michigan a few weeks ago, where we had white people fully armed raid the Capitol and yell in front of the police, and nothing happened to them?
God dang it. I knew that shit.
It was going to come up.
What?
That's great. I saw that. I just saw it.
I'm not familiar with that one.
So basically these guys went, you know, I'm not gonna call them out, but you know those guys that
are.
Yeah, they did a couple of years in the military, and they're all about guns. And
no, they got.
No, let me say my shit. They got like 100 guns, and it makes them feel badass because they got all these guns, and it's all right. Cool, it's your right. Guns are wrong. Doesn't bother me now. But those kind of guys, they
in the Capitol,
they wear the cargo
the guns in their
pants.
hands.
Ones that got out and they were miserable, hated the court, suddenly they were like,
Now all of a sudden they're gun ho.
So these guys, like dressed like militiamen, right? They walk into the capital of Michigan, and they're yelling at the cops.
You need another one?
If that would have been a bunch of cholos, if that would have been a bunch of negritos walked in there like that, what would have happened? What's your take on that, Mike? Can you imagine?
No, I think
a bunch of armed black dudes walking into the Capitol.
I don't think if it was blacks, there would have been an instant. Why? Because they were armed, and they're not gonna go and get into now.
Point.
Yeah.
Look at the difference.
You're right.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point.
If there's a difference, bro. You got a bunch of black people unarmed, they're taking you down. You got a bunch of black people armed, they're not taking you down. They're gonna go ahead.
Police. There's only one guy at the magnometer going, come on through. So
but they got past that.
I got semi-automatic weapons, fully automatic weapons, and you guys got a 9mm.
Bro,
come on.
You can't take a gun to the courtrouse of Bear County.
Yeah.
So how did these
how are you gonna go?
You can't even take scissors in there. I accidentally.
You can't even get your phone in the courtroom, bro.
I get that.
But you're gonna walk in there with guns and nothing happens to you.
Yeah, I was wondering that myself. How did they get into the Capitol?
But here's the deal.
It's because
nothing really happened to them. Because I'm looking at the news feeds here lately that I'm seeing that all these looters, they're getting arrested now because they got them on camera. And they're actually getting detained and charged on charges.
Why don't we spray them with blue water like they do in Japan?
Korea. Was it Korea, right? Hong Kong.
They're spraying the people with blue water and like, all right,
so they can catch them later.
Catch you later on. You wearing blue, we got you.
Yeah, we already know.
That was smart.
If you're like Purple Smurf, we know you were there.
Or how about the girl with the big hole in her forehead because she got popped with one of those rubber bullets.
Yeah. But she brought up the same one that brought up the point. What do you feel? I'm going to ask you straight directly, Lumber to Mike. A bunch of white men walked into there with heavily armed.
Who asked that question?
Nothing happened to them. Would you consider that white privilege?
Absolutely.
Would you consider white privilege?
1,000%.
Don't answer it. Would you consider white privilege?
1,000%.
Would you consider white privilege? The white guys that walked into there armed.
It'd be the same.
Nothing happened to them. Would you consider that white privilege?
Once again, it depends on the situation.
I consider it white privilege.
They're armed.
I
tell you right now,
privilege.
if I'm the security guy and I see a bunch of black people I'm not fucking doing anything. I ain't stupid. It's a difference.
You want my honest answer?
Yeah, I want your honest answer.
And it's not a cop-out.
No, cool.
I don't know.
But
I don't know.
But that's the thing. They have to choose.
I think it's intent, and there's a lot that being in security, being in the military, intent is the key word. If I walk up to the Capitol building with enforced law, first of all, I would never do this. I have quite a nice gun collection, but I'm not. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And so to sit here and have your AR-15 militarized, which there's no such thing, and just sling it across, have it behind you, and go into I think the intent is they're just there to show they mean business. I don't think it's an intent to, and I think if you and I went together and you did the same thing, there would be no problem. But if you went on your own, they might have an issue.
But what about the?
I don't know.
But here it is. But here it is. So not. But once again, if he's not alone, if he's with a bunch of crew people and they're all packing, do you think that they would have got the same treatment that they did white? I think they would have.
I think it would have been a hell of a lot more
No,
press.
because you know why? Because African Americans have been shot because they thought they had a gun.
No, but no.
And imagine they have a gun and you see it, even more reason for everybody to unload their clip on this person.
Yeah, but these guys are fully automatics. Cops don't carry fully automatics. I am not going on a gunfight. If you have an M16, M4, AR-15, AR, whatever it is, and I have a 9mm, I'd be stupid to go ahead and try to...
So do you think that they should have been arrested or cited?
What would you arrest based on?
Or, I mean, cited at
There was
least.
no intent.
So is there any guns allowed there?
There's no. I don't know. I'm not in Minnesota.
And no firearms allowed at the Capitol, right?
No idea.
I don't think there is.
No firearms allowed at the Capitol, right? That's a reason to cite them.
If anybody's on here, can somebody like...
I know each state is
we
different.
can't Google it, but can somebody freaking go on there and see if it was the Capitol? Was it like our what we consider our courthouse?
Amen. Whoever's talking.
See what it was.
And did they get arrested?
Let's see.
No, there was no intent. There was no intent. There was no. And they shouldn't. And they could fight.
They could have
There was
gotten a
no
ticket.
intent.
They
just
should have
went
gotten
in
a
there to
ticket.
prove a point.
But
No,
I get what
it's-
you're saying, no intent, Mike. But what I'm trying to
There's no
say
intent.
is,
You can't.
it's
arrest
still
based
all
on-
white dudes. If it would have been all brown dudes
Was
or
it
all
all
black
white?
dudes,
I tell you what, those
I
African American
understand
guys wouldn't
that.
even taken 2 steps before they would have gotten
Was
shot.
it all white guys?
I don't know. If
Period,
I don't know
point
if
blank.
a whole bunch would have gotten shot. I think that's extreme. Like, I don't think it would have been.
buddy
You would
in
have
LA.
felt more
Yeah,
threatened.
I don't.
Yeah, a bunch of black people armed here in California protesting business and property. Nothing's happened to them. This is California.
But okay, but that's a different scenario, bro.
Yes.
They're protecting. They're what we're talking about. They're protecting people's property. They can't protect.
But how do you
property.
know what? But see, I saw videos where cops don't even know. Right now, it's so unrest. How do you know who's protecting what or who's not?
And how do you
How
know
do you
who's
know?
a cop and who isn't a cop right
Exactly.
now?
So
That's the
think
scary
about it.
thing.
And I saw a video where there was a black. It was a store and there was some black owners outside protecting their store with shotguns. The cops were passing by. Looters were in front, trying to get into
In
the
front of
store.
Michigan's
He was like-
Capitol.
He was like,
It was
with
in
a
front of
gun.
Michigan's
They were
Capitol.
trying to flag the cops. The cops just kept going. There were black people with guns, and they were like, "Hey, he's got guns." They didn't stop. They kept going.
Oh,
And
Facebook
once
blocked
again,
it.
I've also heard about the guy. I mean,
I'm telling you right now, this is a whole different situation.
And I just this drives me nuts
Yes.
because
I need to get him that little comb.
this particular situation
I didn't realize I
that
was putting
started
your tape.
It's
It's like I've been
with this gentleman
This guy has them on the counter all the time.
almost
So real quick,
makes me mad.
in Michigan, it's allowed to carry in their
Yeah.
thing.
Okay, then what do you sign them for?
No. I'm just. I said.
But what we're
No,
saying
no.
is the whole scenario in
Yeah.
general.
And
Like,
Anthony just replied. She said, "It's the Capitol."
so
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
So no. My thing was, shouldn't they have been cited if there was no weapons allowed? Yeah.
That's
My-
right.
my
in
buddy
Texas, you
Vinny,
can
if he's
just walk
on,
into-
he-
there's no
he-
McDonald's
he'll
in
know.
Texas Capitol.
can you walk? Can
Yeah.
anybody that's watching, anybody that has a lot of any input to the capital of Texas and Austin, can we carry in the capital here in Austin, our state capital?
Yes,
Can we carry?
yes, I just realized that. Yes, there's no magnums.
There's
You
no.
can
There's
walk
no
right on
mag.
in.
There's no. What do you call it in there?
No, yes there is.
No, there
There
isn't.
on the state
Babe, when we
Capitol.
visited thing,
I just went there last summer. Unless it's changed in a year.
No, we went before that.
You can carry.
we have to take, like when we go in the courthouse, you have somebody who lives in Austin, please, anybody.
Gina,
Yeah, please.
tell Gina she'll answer that question for you.
Yeah, please.
So,
Because we want facts here.
yeah, another thing is like, we talked about the media and how they spin things up, and I get it. Like I said it in my last one, to get anything nowadays, honestly, what I do is I read CNN, and I read Fox, and then I kind of make my own fucking thing in the middle. That's what you got to do.
That's what you gotta do.
Yeah,
Because,
my wife
you know-
walked in just the other day. She's like, "You're watching MSNBC?" Yeah, I wanna
Yeah,
see what
it's
they're
kind of see
I
what
wanna see what
exactly.
they're-
I want
they're
to see
funny.
the
I want to see what they're taking.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
I want to see.
But I honestly, like I said it earlier, about what if it would have just been Rev and the thing would have just
Yeah.
said, "Hey, you know, a man suffocates by a cop kneeling on his neck." Nobody ever said black man, white cop. Would it have been what it is right now?
No.
Well, actually, that's what I saw. I don't remember where I saw it, but I saw like.
But you
I
can't
saw it
say
way.
that.
I saw it that way on one of the.
You saw it or you feel it like that? A man killed another
No,
man.
no, no, no.
I saw
No.
it on
Because
Twitter.
I saw
They
it
said
too.
Cop kills man
Yeah.
kneeling on neck, and I was like,
By suffocation or
Oh,
kneeling on neck. Yeah, yeah.
and then as time went on, I was like, wait a minute, that's a white
The
cop,
narrative
that's a black
changed.
dude.
The
And
narrative
they-
changed.
Yeah, and
It did.
They didn't even start with that. They said, cop kills man kneeling on neck or something like that, and there was no race involved whatsoever on the Twitter feed that I saw, and I was like, oh shit, and then the narrative changed.
Yeah, the narrative changed.
Hey, so my sister-in-law just looked it up. You can have a weapon inside the Texas Capitol.
Well, you're in Texas.
You are
But you're in
correct.
Texas.
Yeah.
We were talking, and somebody posted in Michigan, you can also.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
And somebody just posted also Kentucky also.
Oh.
So it's allowed.
I you know, the whole, sometimes I think the race thing really the media blows it. I think
Oh my God,
they
yes.
blow it out of proportion.
Yes.
You know? But
Yes.
and I'm not saying that, Sean, because you know I'll get African Americans be like, oh,
All I'm gonna say is it's worse everywhere else but Texas.
It's
Oh.
worse.
Southern hospitality. Now you go to California, you go to Florida,
So
you go
when
to New
you,
York.
but when you, so my friend Howard made a
Yeah.
good point. So when you read the headline though, did you immediately think it was black? Did you?
Nope.
Or did you? No.
No.
no. When I read the headline, it said white cop,
No,
black
and
man.
he's right because when I saw it on Twitter. It popped up that a cop suffocated a man with his knee to his neck or whatever but then a couple of hours later, the narrative changed. And it's like going back to what happened to Breonna Taylor, the beginning. No one's heard of that. She got shot in her own house
Your house.
by the cops
Well, that's
because they conducted a search warrant in the wrong house. So it's the cops again. The cops
Hold on,
again.
I'm fucking lost, bro.
Yeah.
You
gotta read it
Okay, yeah,
out.
hold on. We'll stay here.
Can I
Yes.
invoke my white privilege
Gotcha.
and go back to where I was?
Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
White privilege, go, Mike.
Cheers.
And I told my friend Katrina this the other day. I said, this situation right now, almost like by that much, has me a little bit less pissed off than Philando Castile in Philadelphia. Y'all remember that one? The guy that the girlfriend was in the front seat and she Facebooked it live and the cop shot him with his daughter in the back seat.
Oh yeah.
He had a license to carry a
Yes.
weapon
2-3,
in Philadelphia.
2053.
Last I
2-3,
checked,
2053.
Jesus got denied a permit to carry in Philadelphia. If people need to understand, if you have a license to carry, a state-issued license to carry, you have no idea the shit we have to go through to obtain that. You have no idea the background check, the bullshit. I mean, my God, it was like you have to get your fingerprints taken at this one location. It has to be within 10 days of the class, and it has to be. My military friends can understand. There's a process, and you took it 11 days ago. You got to start the process over again and give us $50 more. You know, you literally there is a process, and that's in Texas. In other states, it's even harder. California doesn't even have to give you a reason why they deny you. They just say no. It's up to the local sheriff.
The sheriff actually has
And
to
so-
prove it. And that's a no.
In
the guy got rid of it.
Philadelphia, yeah, and he told the cops when they asked for the license and registration, I have a license to carry. He told them where the gun was, and he said my wallet's in there too. And he reached for his wallet. Next thing you know, he's shot. And he was killed in front of his kid in a car seat. The girlfriend was Facebooking it live at the time it happened. And I was waiting for the NRA to say something because this guy had a license to legally carry in Philadelphia. They never said a thing, and ever since then, I have not given one dime to the NRA because I thought that's what they were all
So
about.
what was the
Hold
outcome?
on,
So what was the outcome on that?
Actually, I haven't even. I don't.
I don't know.
Gun-toting country, freaking hunting. You don't get one dime in the NRA.
No, they are just as political as anything else. The unions, the everything, it is all political. Just like everything else, it comes from a place of good, and then once the money starts rolling in, it starts becoming political.
Can I read a comment off of Sean's thing? This is those rules, and he's absolutely right. Those rules and rights were written in a time that was not intended for minorities.
Dude, I'm glad that. No, I want to say on that.
That is very true.
Not just that, but I always hear that's our Second Amendment right. That's our. I get it, and that's what our country's built on. And I'm not here to change any of that. But that was a different time than what we live in now, bro. Things have to change. If we want our country to get to be the greatest country that we want it, to the best country on earth, we have to change, bro. Everybody looks at us. There's people protesting.
Other countries are laughing at us
across the water, dog. Don't even have one.
No. That's not true. When George Floyd died, the same incident happened over there with another black guy who got killed by.
But I have seen posters of Floyd.
That's the reason why it happened.
That's why
because that was the first thing I thought too. Is like, oh shit, this shit went fucking national.
But
or international.
Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but was that written when African Americans were still slaves?
That's why the Constitution is a living document. It can be amended as the process goes on. That's what we have.
That's why I brought you, bro. I knew the white guy would know that answer, bro. I knew you would know that
A in
answer.
history, high school.
Hey, you took AP history? High five, babe.
No, I'm white. We still high five. So, and that's my point. Is that that's why the Constitution is a living document and can be amended as time goes on. These guys were freaking geniuses that wrote it. Yes, at the time, and at that time also, you had to own land to even vote. So not everybody could even vote. At the time the Constitution was written, America's population was only about 1.7 million.
Hey, bro, I don't want a whole history lesson.
Well, I want to hear. But no. But I want to hear this.
And so, and of that 1.7 million, only landowners could vote, so it was even less. So at the time that was written, yeah. But now we've seen it, and as time goes on, I can't remember the last time we had an amendment.
Look at this.
I can't remember the last time we had an amendment changed, but time goes on, things change, Alice.
Yeah.
What's that?
So, my buddy Wally, we need a protest against the Spurs. That was a different time. It's down in Maverick. It's a Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, and this guy's comment
So,
goes.
right to bear.
He's got a question.
My friend Monty here put right to bear arms. Second Amendment came about so colonists could be armed and not just be ruled by England.
Yes, but also you lose. Okay, the Second Amendment. Everybody loses me when you use it for 3 reasons. When you say, oh, well, you'll be able to hunt. There's nothing in the Second Amendment about hunting. They didn't write it that way because at the time it was written, hunting was a natural thing like growing vegetables. They didn't need to write it.
They didn't need a license to hunt.
There's nothing about personal protection because that's inherent. That is for your religious people, God-given right to natural protection. Back then, that was a natural thing. And then the third one was, what's the other excuse they give you? Oh, sporting. At the time this was written, you didn't go out target shooting. Ammo was not cheap. And many people were so poor they had to make their own musket balls.
Not here in South Texas, not now. Not now.
But do you agree it needs to be?
No.
No?
I don't think
Why?
so. I don't think it does, and because the Second Amendment was written to go ahead for the militia to form in the event that the government came down to crush you, you could defend yourself.
If there was ever
Oh, great, because that's about to happen here.
It was tyranny.
If there was
Oh, yeah.
ever a time to be for the Second Amendment, especially as a black man, it's right now.
Well,
are you serious? You don't want to be able to be afforded the opportunity to protect yourself?
Well, no, I agree with that.
Sean,
I'm
you want
saying
a gun?
different things, not necessarily that one, huh?
You want a gun?
No.
You don't have to answer that.
I'm not a gun type. I use my hands.
That's the real effective against the bullets the cops throwing at you.
Yeah, I'm just not a gun person.
And that's fine.
Never
And that's
owned
your
one.
right.
Yeah.
And that's your right. Me,
Yeah.
I go
That's how I was
hunting and
raised.
stuff with my kids and stuff. So, but the Second Amendment was put there, and it has evolved over time. So when people go, no, we need it because we need hunting, you've just lost me on your argument. That has nothing to do with it whatsoever. It has changed into personal protection because that's where we're at now. There was nothing about it about personal protection in the Second Amendment. And I would love for
But Mike, if you're personally protecting yourself with a gun, the way I see it, right? You're a white guy. You carry a gun. Nobody even really looks twice at you, honestly. I don't.
I believe,
Right?
I believe it's how you present yourself.
But if a white man sees a freaking black dude carrying a gun,
Not necessarily.
Well, that's.
I don't know. That's just me.
He's giving you his view.
From me personally, but and I'll be like, if you went outside and you walked down the street right now and you saw a guy that looked like you versus a black man with a hoodie, would you feel more threatened?
No, because here's the deal.
And honestly,
Now,
I might.
You're actually asking the wrong person.
I mean, that's being 100.
See,
So, I don't believe that.
And I just said this on Monday night, having a beer with my friend, is that I don't care what race you are. Like, if it's 1 a.m. behind the 7-Eleven,
You're right.
It's just a group of young men with a hoodie. I don't give a shit what race. I'm not putting myself in that situation. I'm walking away.
That's true.
You know, I don't even look at the race. I just
Read
see a bunch of
Gina's
kids
comment.
hanging out, I'm going away. It doesn't matter race. I'm not going to put myself in that situation. Is anything going to happen? No. But why put yourself in that situation?
I'm
You
not
don't
a
even-
gun guy, bro. Never
Look,
have been.
Bumper got shot by a Mexican.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you would have been on,
See,
you would have
like-
taken them out.
So,
Oh yeah, and he wouldn't even be here right now.
I don't want to bring
Because
this
he would've
into
gone to
this
jail.
because
You know
that's
why?
not
Because
what-
he's a Marine.
That's not what today's.
You would not believe the interrogation that he got for
That's not
that.
what
That's a
today's
whole nother story.
topic. That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
The
You
castle
know,
law.
I've been a victim of gun violence. It is what it is. You know, but I honestly like. I still believe that if you're a colored person, and colored I mean African American, Latino, whatever,
White.
and you're carrying a gun,
White is a color. You're right.
you're looked at differently. I don't care what somebody can say.
That's a fact.
Some person with that carries guns all the time. That's not true. That's not, and I'm not acting like a white guy, but I am.
You are.
That's not true.
Oh
That-
shit!
that-
I just
that's-
experienced racism, and it's
it
on
is.
camera.
I know. That's not very true. I wouldn't do that. Bullshit. Because he just said, if a black dude wearing a hoodie is freaking he's freaking got a gun
He never
on his
said that.
fucking.
He just said with the hoodie.
Now listen.
Hey,
Listen.
no.
Listen.
Can you read your friend Howard's comment on an African American holding a concealed whatever license?
He said, the one I have a CHL and I own weapons, but my fear is not criminals, it's the cops justifying their abuse.
Because
Yeah.
that's happened.
Because he
that has
says-
happened. They have
because
called for an active
for-
shooter situation. I don't remember what city this was, but there was an active shooter situation in a mall, and a black man with a CHL license pulled out and started taking control. Cops showed up, thought it was him.
Yep.
And I know one time they actually shot the black guy, and then there was another time that the cops detained him while the other guy kept shooting other people.
I think it happened in El Paso too.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought it was
at
up
the-
north.
at the-
All this shit happens up
This
north.
happened, I think, last year in El Paso
Yeah.
during that shooting at that mall. That
Oh,
it was
yeah,
it was
yeah.
an active shooter. And
Oh,
that guy-
yes.
It was that Marine or
Yeah.
he was a National Guard or whatever.
I
And he was
think.
carrying.
Yes, and he was carrying.
And they thought he was one.
They
of them.
thought he was the
I'm gonna
shooter.
take
Yep.
this away. I'm gonna take this away from kind of guns, and I'm gonna kind of go back a different direction. You know, us as a country. I made a statement on Saturday. Some of y'all watched my live. You know, it really bothered me to see the country and the situation that we're in right now.
Bumpers for
Like,
Bowden
it
said
really,
white is
really,
a contrast.
Really, really bothered me.
Why does it what?
A
and
contrast.
I couldn't wait for today because I get all you guys
Think
here,
about
I get
it.
all of your guys' input, right? But I'm gonna ask each one of y'all, and you can have as much time as you want, right? Because there's no time limit on this son of a bitch.
But they may.
But
I have a time limit.
where do you? And here's my question: where do you see our country? Don't explain anything. Why? Where do you see our country right now in the eyes of an African American? Right now.
The first question, or the first thing that came to me is woke. I mean, people are starting to wake up and realize how black people have
Been treated.
been treated, how we've been feeling, like what's been going on. And I mean, and unfortunately, it took the death of a lot of people to lead up to it. It wasn't just George Floyd. It was the death and discrimination, abuse of a lot of black people. Again, does it happen to other people? Absolutely. But I think as a country, it's been more aware now than ever. And my first response is woke, man. Like now people see it, and you can't deny it, you can't avoid it. It's in your face.
But Sean, so you
no,
I'll go to see it on TV, seeing all the African American protests,
yeah.
right? Thousands and thousands of people come out the woodworks. They're angry, and I'm with them.
Yep.
I don't want to say I feel their anger because I don't want you to feel that, oh, you don't know what it feels like to be me, right? But I feel you. I understand where the anger's coming from. But where are those people when it's time to fucking vote, bro?
Yeah, no, and I was gonna bring that up. I saw the screenshot. I saw a screenshot today. I was talking about voting, and again, this is not about politics.
No.
I know you're a Trumper, but when Trump was awarded, it said like something like he won Washington, but by like 23,000 votes, but 300,000 people in Seattle alone didn't vote. When he won Georgia, he won by like 60,000 votes, but 500,000 or so, some extreme number just in Atlanta, not even the state of Georgia, didn't vote. And imagine how many black people are in Atlanta and how many minorities are in Atlanta.
But he still won the majority
Yeah,
vote.
he
Well,
did.
it's not the majority vote.
No, he did
He
win
won the
the
electoral vote.
the electoral.
And that's the reason
But
why
there's-
Democrats are trying to get rid of it because, let alone, if 4 states pretty much could take the presidency
yeah
every 4 years.
every 4 years.
I have it right
So,
Every
you
8.
know,
Trump won Michigan by 11,000 votes. In Detroit alone, 277,000 people didn't vote. He won Pennsylvania by 44,000 votes.
Yeah.
In Philadelphia alone, just that one city, 238,000 blacks didn't vote.
Yep.
So,
But I bet you there was 200,000 out there.
So it is on us.
But here it is.
Yeah.
Look at San Antonio. San Antonio, the office, they only 9% voted in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
What?
Is that high?
So,
I thought it was less than that.
so that's your take, Manny.
I'm used back.
What's your take? What's your take on
Smells like coconut.
where we're at as a country right now, as a Mexican American veteran, whatever label you want to put on
You know,
yourself?
it's broken right now, and there's a lot of change that needs to be made. And like I said, like Sean just mentions right now, he's telling me I'm a Trumper. But here it is. Everyone wants to blame the president of the United States for what's going on. It's not his fault. All right? Shootings in Texas, shootings in California. You elect, people in California elected their governors, their mayors. That's the reason why he didn't go ahead and open the country when he wanted to. What did they call him out? You're not a dictator. You can't control all the states. So he allowed governors, mayors, and city officials to make those decisions themselves. Those decisions were poor decisions. Look at every state that has issues. Right now, look at every state that has all the majority of the rights. They're blue states.
Yeah.
They're blue states.
Yep.
And they're allowing it to continue because it's their state. He's not making a call. So why are you blaming Trump when you could be blaming the governor, the mayor, the city official that actually is running your state? If you don't like it, then like Sean said, get out in there, vote, and put somebody else in office. But you can't cop out, and mayors and governors can't go ahead and just cop out and try to say, you know what, this ain't my fault. I'm gonna blame it on the president. This is all his fault. Because that shit don't work that way.
So where do you feel we're at as a country?
I told you, it's broken. And we need to go ahead and get back, and the only way to get back is to make sure, like Sean says, people need to get out and fucking vote.
Here's the thing, and somebody said,
You know-
it's not anyone's problem until it doesn't affect them. And that's why everyone needs to vote.
Boom.
And then somebody else said, why is it only looking at how many blacks didn't vote? Are we assuming blacks don't like Trump? And is it only because he's white?
I don't think it's a white guy.
It's like what Joe said the other day.
Feel like their voice isn't heard, so they why bother?
So Mike,
I think that happens a lot.
right now as a country, as a Caucasian, white guy, gringo, bolillo, whatever we want to call you, where do you feel we're at as a country right now?
Lowest low.
No way. No way. Not even close. We're going through the problems that we're going through. We have our issues. But we are making progress. We've been making progress from the beginning. And you can look at National Institute of Justice, you can look at the CDC, you can look at the FBI,
That's my girl.
the DOJ stats, and they all show that we are going towards we are getting better across the board racially. People don't understand crime across the board, heinous, violent crime across the board is down. And it continues to go down dramatically since the 80s. Across the board, nationwide. Now we have pockets where things are bad, yes. But once again, it's not all one person's problem. This is not all on Trump. It's on a majority of it is on the governors and local municipalities. People don't realize this how much power the president doesn't have. People don't realize that we have 3 branches of government, and people don't understand. And I am not a Trump supporter, and I'll say it. I did not vote for him. This time I have no idea, but but I look at it solely from the military, where I served under 4 different administrations, and each one of them I was like, seriously, this is what we're doing? So crime across the board is going down. In 1958, only 6% of Americans agreed with interracial marriage. As of 2000, it was 86% agreed with it. We are moving in the right direction. Will we ever get rid of racism? No. Will we ever get rid of hate, bigotry, all this? No. Does that mean we stop trying? No. But we are way ahead of where we're at now than we've ever been in a country.
You think so?
Yes. Yeah. I don't think you think we're the same.
open.
I do. And look at it.
They're definitely more educated.
Because
I agree.
We're more educated. Look at the marches. Do you think you'd have white people marching?
No.
This
And
week,
there's
white
a lot of
people
them out
marching with
there.
Martin Luther King, and that's
No.
bullshit too. If you're throwing bricks at windows, quit talking about Martin Luther King. Because he marched with a Bible, not a Molotov cocktail.
Correct.
So calm the hell down. And white people, you need to learn that there's a difference between protesters and rioters. And you need to quit watching what the media puts out, because I saw today 2 different versions of the media. There was a gentleman holding a sign, peacefully protesting. It got dark. They got him on video putting the sign down, throwing bricks in the windows, and when the cops came, he picked the sign up. And people were telling, hey, he was throwing brick, and they were arresting him while holding a sign. Oh, police are arresting peaceful protesters. No, they're not. That jackass was throwing a brick. You can't unring that bell. Once you cross that line and throw bricks and start vandalizing, you're not a protester anymore. Now you're a looter. Now you're donating to the chaos. Pick a side and stick with it. It's that simple.
I agree with every one of you guys' comments, but you know, you brought up the president. Sean, you really didn't go into there, but
Well, just real quick, I agree. Trump doesn't have a lot of power, but I feel like he does have a lot of responsibility. And
Yes.
He's not necessarily.
you're stealing the thunder. You're stealing the thunder. You're stealing
My bad.
So my thing is,
You see him with the Bible? Like he held the Bible like your single friend in your group that's like, hey, you wanna hold my baby? What do I do with this?
Yeah.
Like what do you do? And it's a photo op. Like seriously, really?
I think
Right now?
as a president, regardless of you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever it is, at the end of the day, you're the president of the most powerful country in the world. You're the president of what every country looks at to want to become, right? And I get it. Like I honestly, I do get it that he's not a typical politician. Nobody can buy him. He says what he wants. I get that, but there's a difference in being presidential, bro.
No, I
Being
agree.
presidential of a country like us, you have to act a certain way and you have to freaking be a certain way. And honestly, leadership-wise, I haven't seen one tiny bit of leadership. All I see is a kid that takes the ball to the basketball court, right? When he gets to the court, there's 11 guys. They pick teams. He's the guy that doesn't get picked. So what does the asshole do?
Takes his ball.
Give me my ball. I'm going home. Ain't none of you son of bitches
Okay,
playing.
but we'll also
Hold on, let me finish. You can. I'm spilling my beans here. So, as a leadership-wise, I haven't seen it. But I'm not an idiot. I'm not. People like to portray me as this far left guy, and I've said it before in my other episodes. I'm not. I'm more of a middle guy. I see both sides. I understand, right? But you have to. I am. No, not.
Your Facebook, man, you might as well have a profile with one of them pussy hats on, man. Dude,
I would have to disagree with you.
You think I'm far left?
You are.
I think
No, hold on.
it's not about far left. It's a think about, like, you know, is he presidential?
Ouch.
No. Does he fucking open his mouth and make, you know, stupid comments? Yes, absolutely. But when he does the right thing, does the right speech, does he get the benefit and go ahead and get the props?
Let me
No,
tell you
he
this.
does not.
You know what? You know what he wasn't
For
learned.
every
Donald
5
Trump.
things that he does
That's the
good.
problem. He should-
Donald
he should
Trump
be
needs
like-
to
it should
learn
be-
that
no,
money should not buy power. That's what he
You
needs
could
to
tell
learn.
that to 78% of Congress.
Well,
Why
yeah,
is
because you
it
know
that-
what?
why
All
is
those
it
career
the word-
politicians,
why is
they
it-
need to get the fuck out.
why is it
They can't
more
even stand up
majority?
there and talk.
And
Why
the
is
loud
it-
boss is in the right field. They're in the right field.
Why is it that the majority of elected officials on the federal level were not millionaires before elected, but now they are?
Because we give them money.
But you
They're
know what?
corrupt as
That
hell.
dude
It's
was
corruption.
born to money.
Okay.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm not
No,
defending that.
it's
All I'm
not.
saying is-
I mean,
And that's why he doesn't know how to act.
But Manny,
That's why he doesn't know how
ask both of
to.
y'all.
That's
Do
why
you
he doesn't
think-
know how to
do you
conduct
think
himself
being the
because
president of the
he
United
was
States,
spoon fed
you should
his
hold
whole
yourself
entire
to another
life.
standard. Period.
Yes.
It's like
Period.
it's like the quarterback on the football team.
Exactly.
Everybody, when everything goes right, it's because of him.
Yeah.
When everything goes wrong, it's
Your
because
voice
of
should
him.
be the soothing
lost.
voice in the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your voice should be the soothing voice in the time that a country is hurting.
Yes.
It's in pain. Regardless if you agree with what's going on, you're the leader of the free nation. The minute that this shit happened, he should have came out and said something. And I get it, bro. Damn if he does and damn if he doesn't.
Yeah.
That's the world that Trump lives
Yeah.
in. I understand that.
Yeah.
And the media beats his ass up every single day.
Right or
get
wrong,
it.
right or
Right
wrong.
or wrong.
And
I
you know
get
what?
it.
Here's the deal.
But for every 5 things that he does, when
But
he
we're-
does something stupid, it really knocks any little good things that he did. Knocks out. I agree with a lot of stuff that he does. And I'll say
Okay,
it right
but
now
here's the
on my
thing.
show, people are bumping. I don't hate Trump, bro. I don't hate Trump. But I'm here to tell you that leadership-wise,
Oh, yeah.
Sean, this excludes you, but you two knuckleheads right here, right? Look, you got a you're an E3. You got a freaking you got a petty officer. We got a sergeant. We know it's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
We know that he's a piece of shit. But
Hey.
this from your kids.
Yeah.
So we know that
Sponges,
he's a piece of shit, right? But somehow, some way, he slipped through the cracks and he got promoted.
You know why?
I guess. Wait a minute, and he's in charge of us.
You know why?
Y'all are gonna make him look good anyway.
That's how I feel.
You know what's funny? You think Trump's bad? Get ready. Hang on.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
Hang on.
Yeah, it's gonna be worse.
We
don't have
never-
anybody good
who's
right
the
now.
last great president.
Barack Obama.
Give me.
Done. You asked a question, I gave you an answer.
I would say Reagan.
Reagan.
Reagan was a great president.
Reagan was an amazing.
Bush.
George, I like George Bush.
Now everybody's like, dude, I wish we had George back.
Yeah, me too.
I like
Shit.
George Bush was a good
George Bush was a
president.
good president.
We are never going to have another president with, I'm going to go on a limb here and say, 65% approval rating. Never. No.
We're never gonna have another president with ethics, that's
The
for
media
damn
drags people. No good person, no quality person is ever going to run for president because of how the media will take the smallest little, like we all are free of sin. You know, like we all haven't messed up. But they go hunting for the skeletons in your closet. Who's going to want to do that? Who's going to want to do that? So get ready. You think Trump's bad? Whoever's next, whoever's after that, it's just going to get worse. Because no people are going to want to go for president. I have been told by at least, and I'm not exaggerating, 50 people to run for office somewhere in Bexar County or less. Because of my views. Because I'm very centered.
Yep.
I had told people, okay, my Christian right-wing friends, Trump's photo op for his base in front of the church holding the Bible. Let's say, for sake of argument, Obama was a Muslim. Would you feel the same way if he did that with a Quran in front of a mosque?
Oh.
Well, people would have fucking raised hell.
They would have raised it. The other side would have raised
They
it.
tried to.
We are
They
so
tried to do that
polarized.
anyways,
Yeah,
Obama.
they said that he spoke behind a Muslim curtain behind in his speeches, and it's
Yeah.
like, no, dumbass, if you look, Trump, he's got the same damn curtain behind him. Like, this is insane.
So here's my
This
question
is
to you, Mike.
nuts.
Here's my
It's
question to you.
insane.
Here's my question to you, straight up. And I want an honest answer from you.
Dude, that's all I do.
Do you believe Donald Trump's a racist?
No. No, I do not.
Stop right
Because-
there. Stop right there.
No.
Manny,
No.
do you feel that Donald Trump's a racist?
I don't think so, and I don't think anybody did because Oprah Winfrey was fucking with him. Fucking, you know, everybody loved him before he was in politics.
Yep.
Everybody
Yeah.
has fucking pictures with P Diddy.
Yep.
Everybody supported him. Great. Hillary
NAACP
Clinton made a comment one time that he would make a great president. And when he made a great president, guess what? She wasn't with it because he got beat out.
Yep.
But I'm just telling you right now, he
Sean
wasn't racist before because they were getting money.
No.
Do you feel,
Yes,
do you feel that
exactly.
Donald Trump's
He bought
racist?
everything out.
No.
I don't. My question's kind of twofold. I mean, I feel like there's racist people who
No,
have
no.
black
I
friends.
want to be direct to you. I want you to directly
Honestly,
tell me
I,
if you.
honestly, answers. I don't feel like he's racist. I feel like he's ignorant.
I agree.
Okay, you know what?
So those y'all didn't hear him. He was kind of, his answer was he don't believe that Trump is racist. He's ignorant. Right?
Until
And
like lay down with me.
I see some Trumpers in here that are kind of like,
That
oh,
was
I kind of
so
agree with
bad.
that.
He's not a Trumper.
I'm not a Trumper, dude.
Okay, what?
You're not a Trumper, bro.
No.
Oh, shit. That's a
I tell
bump
you
stick.
what, between Hillary Clinton and Trump, I'm a fucking Trumper. Between Trump and fucking Biden, I'm a fucking Trumper.
You realize voting for the lesser of two evils. Still
Hey,
voting for
it's gotta be at least one. So
Hey, the only guy not drinking alcohol is
Not
spinning freaking Topo Chicos, bro.
Can we
What
go
is
on?
going on,
You know,
dog?
he was drinking
You got
that
a
54th
question?
Street.
You got a question?
I got it.
Sean, you got a comment?
No.
Well, no, my boy
Yeah.
Howard said Trump has literally has racial lawsuits he's lost before.
Okay, so?
I won't tell you what else he lost, but we're not going to go into that.
Because here's the deal. Who did? Okay, Obama was supposed
Well,
to be this
my brother-in-law
great,
said he's not
this
racist
great-
because he has black friends.
No, it's
Who? I have never seen him with one.
Obama
He
was
just told you
supposed to
right
be this
now.
great-
He
right.
did.
Oh, he wasn't a president. He wasn't a president at the time.
But I mean, but at the same time, he could have just been doing that for other intentions. He might,
You know
he
why?
could be
'Cause-
racist.
Exactly.
He has
Yeah.
pictures with those people for
Do
other
you
Hey, man.
Do you really think that he
Oh, I'm
gave
sorry.
his undivided attention to Kim Kardashian's husband? What's his name?
Why not?
Kanye.
Kanye.
West.
You think he really sat there and he was like, you know what, Kanye, I really absorb what you're telling me. Like I'm really gonna take it.
He has
for what
ADD,
we're-
of course he
Well,
did
then
it.
he did go ahead and reform fucking prison reform
Right.
for blacks.
Prison,
I mean, if he's racist, why is he doing that?
Criminal justice reform, the thing that Barack Obama himself couldn't get passed, Trump did. I'm not a Trumper,
So
but I
tell
will
me,
give
like,
credit
if he's
where credit
racist,
is
why
due.
would he do that?
And also, he has
He's
given,
like I
he
said,
has
John said,
allotted
he's not
over
racist.
He's
just
ignorant.
What was it,
He's
$500 billion
stupid.
to lower income families in lower economic areas? I mean, he's done a lot for the black community as president. Look it up. And the problem is, everyone points to the president. My right-wing friends, when Obama was in, fucking Obama, gas prices are up. Okay, why is
Because
it
you're the
like-
leader of
Why is it no? The president has
You have to take responsibility.
zero impact on gas prices, and people don't understand that. But people blamed Obama for high gas prices. Well, then right now, why wouldn't they be cheering Trump for the lower gas prices? Like that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Because it's COVID. COVID's
Eventually.
Um,
I mean, yeah, they have
COVID.
absolutely nothing to do with gas
over
prices.
there with them, please. You shouldn't have done that. That's not very nice.
Nice.
Scared the shit out of you, right?
My boy James said, "How could a birther not be racist?" I don't know what a birther is.
A birther. So Trump was a birther. He was the guy that came out. He was probably the most
Yes, I
vocal,
forgive you, my love.
celebrity to come out and say, besides James Woods, to say that Obama was not born in America. And you had, and those were the birther movement and all this shit. And I'm like, guys, really?
Oh.
It's just like with Kavanaugh, the whole Justice Kavanaugh thing.
Yeah.
The guy's been a federal judge for how many decades? And this just now comes about. Like, do you have any idea the background check people have to go through to get to that point? Kavanaugh went through all that background check shit, and all of a sudden this woman, really? Same thing with Obama. He went through all that shit. He was a senator. He was all of this. He was all of that. And now all of a sudden he's not born in
And then
America.
people are so
dude.
misinformed with even Kavanaugh because they're like, oh, he's getting promoted to a lifetime appointment. He was already in a lifetime.
He was already
appointment.
like he was a federal
So, I mean, what the
servant.
fuck you know?
So,
Yeah.
Come on, man.
you know,
People
you
you're
guys
ignorant
say
of our
that.
government.
You guys
Yeah.
say that,
Of government.
and I can agree with that. I can agree with your comments in a sense, but no matter how they cut up, the media cut it up. You didn't hear the whole speech. The fact of the fucking matter,
No, you didn't.
So hold on. Somebody says, do you not consider his comments about Mexican
that's
racist,
exactly what I'm getting at.
Chinese racist, or Middle Eastern racist? You don't call that racism?
What
You don't call that being racist?
What part?
What
the one that where they said like we're trying to keep criminals where they
No, the one where you
automatically-
say immigrants are rapists, drug dealers, and murderers.
No, that's not what he said though.
That's not what he said.
That is not what he said.
What about what
he
he
said? He was trying
not
to
what he
keep
said.
immigrants, rapists, and everything from coming in because a lot of them were actually coming in with
those people.
And he came out and specifically said, "That's not what I said. We have good people coming in, but in between those good people, there's a bunch of bad people."
So
and
that
it's
same
13.
speech that
So-
he made, he needs to make that today.
So, but he did clarify it, but they continued to go ahead and only use that clip like
No,
he went
first of
ahead.
all, he doesn't need to clarify it because that's actually what he fucking said.
Yes.
People are cutting up clips. He doesn't need to clarify what he said. If you quit again, if you watch different news,
Yeah.
the problem is the right wingers watch Fox, the left wingers watch NBC, CNN, and all that.
I watch
it's like-
CNN,
and
dog.
It's like shocking.
I read.
It's like,
I read
dude,
shit.
Dude, for 24 hours, watch another
I'm selective in
news
what I
site
read.
that you don't normally watch.
Honestly.
You want the truth? You want the truth? You want to hear the truth in the news media? Watch
I want your
BBC.
truth.
BBC.
Oh, the British Broadcasting
Yes.
Co- yeah.
When they report on us, dude, the shit they did on Biden recently
They laugh.
was fucking hilarious.
Why was it hilarious? Because it's Biden?
Because because they're like, wait a minute.
You see what I mean?
Because Biden said he was gonna beat Biden.
No, because he said we need to re-elect Trump. They went and they played a clip of Trump's dumb shit, and then they played like Biden's dumb shit, and they were like, America's doomed. Like, it was so hilarious.
Yeah, it's
They're like,
true.
It
this
is true.
This is the leader of the free world. These people are going for, and it was hilarious, but you will never see that on American TV.
No, you're right.
He does stuff
Yeah.
like when he does stuff about like when he shut off the Middle East and terrorists and stuff like that. Dude, not all Muslims are fucking bad.
No. But that's the thing is that at the time he was trying to shut it down because of a specific threat, and he was shutting it down because there was a lot of them that were sneaking in through.
If it was a Muslim ban, why didn't he include Malaysia?
Correct.
That has a
Correct.
shit.
Okay, so we're gonna go on a whole fucking different time.
Oh yeah.
This is
I want to
fucking-
hear what the Marine has to
This
say
is
over there.
fucking- This is fucking Wacky Wednesday, right? This is Wacky Wednesday, and Sean, I really gonna want a lot of your input on this, right? This is what I
Again,
see.
pick it on
America,
Sean.
and I'm gonna talk about universities like the University of Alabama, the University of Texas, the University of Georgia, South Carolina, all the deep South, right? It's freaking amazing to me to see people. This Wacky Wednesday, we went from one tangent to another.
Yeah, right?
Hundreds and thousands of people on Saturday morning, Saturday evening, Saturday afternoon
there. I know.
are cheering on
You're gonna have people
football teams.
No, the fucking thing is
When
somebody.
90% of the football players
They gotta
are
come fix it. It's right here.
Somebody wrote something earlier today. I read where it said
It's a 3-hour job.
Isn't
The
it
guy's gotta
crazy
come
that
fix it on Monday.
that
He already came
people,
and
you
tried,
find
but
people
people
cheering
won't.
these people on when they score a touchdown,
eyes for
when they tackle somebody, when they throw a football, when they catch a football, and they're all about them. But if you take their jersey off of them and they introduce them in the street, they could give a fucking rat's ass about them, right?
I don't know about that.
How do you feel about that, Sean?
I feel a lot of different ways. I mean, one, it's just, it's how we are in America. Like, what have you done for me lately, right? So if they're helping their team win, they're going to cheer them on because that's all they care about. But at the same time, I mean, and honestly, and I don't know if I'm going too deep in this, but this is where my thought process came. But those same states, like, go back to slavery. They were happy when their slaves were doing the work for them. When they were going, they had that one that followed every single
point.
step and every single order that gave them. That was their favorite son or their favorite boy, right? So that's what you hear. A lot of them are like, "Oh, look at that boy run! Look at the way that boy catches the ball! Look at the way, you know what I'm saying?"
I never thought about that.
And, you know what I'm saying? So
I never thought about it like that.
And that's my mindset as a black man, that I feel like a lot of, and that's when you see those memes that say like, you can stand for me, but you can never understand what I've gone through, and that's why like we as black people have a totally different point of view and stance on things like this because of what we've gone through and what our people.
Yeah,
have done.
exactly.
So okay, and from the white version, when you tell us stories of things that have happened to you, and I'm guilty of this too, they're so outlandish, they're almost unbelievable. So I didn't believe you. Like, really? Someone did that? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
someone
Because it's unbelievable
the
to
lady
you.
that shared her story about walking with her 6-year-old girl, and someone stopped, and I'm just like, bullshit. That didn't happen. That's so outlandish. Like, who does that? Who takes time out of their day to stop, yell out racial shit to the people with their family,
No, you
and then
can't go.
continue driving?
You gotta answer the.
Oh, go to the bathroom.
No, it's right there. First door. He's over here doing the BB
He
dance.
just said we go back to
I hear you,
babies.
Mike, but I wanna stay kind of like on the.
No, he
on
just
the-
said we go
is it
back to
working?
babies when we get older. And you want to make him hold his bladder? Did it die?
This is not charging.
Is that a real iPhone or is that a Chinese one?
Here.
It's racial. See? Is that a real one or is
I
that a
bet it
Chinese
has a
one?
virus if it's from China.
It's because the charge is white.
That's right. We don't work. We used to get these guys to do it for us. So get you a ground charger.
You see what I mean? Like,
Fast charger. It didn't here, plug this.
But
Take this
you-
and plug it in over there.
that's a perfect example of a conversation right there. We were all laughing. I said something racial. Sean said something racial.
Listen, here's the problem.
And you said something
Here's the
racial.
problem. That was not what we just said was not racist because of the intent. That was what I went back to before. The intent. There is no damn way. There's no damn. It's intent. It goes to intent. And of course, anybody who knows. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
Seriously, really. I mean, I make fun of. I mean, my God. Come on.
What do y'all think about the fact that nothing is in the dark anymore? Everybody has access. I was going to bring that up, Chris. That's freaking great.
Aha.
So, if this occasion would have happened 25 years ago, this shit wouldn't even make the news.
They would have covered it up.
They would have covered it up,
Because-
whatever the case may be, right?
No, because we don't have the access.
Yeah.
25, 30 years ago,
It's right here.
KSAT 12,
Yeah, you didn't have cell
KSAT
phones.
12 did local news only in that 30-minute slot. And you had to get home by 6 p.m. or 10 p.m. to watch it. If you didn't, you missed it.
My point
So
is,
no one was exposed.
So- so, but-
Mike is that regardless,
Tell him about Brianna.
regardless if it was on the news or
He
not,
didn't know about it because
you
he
couldn't
didn't
have
make a big deal
proved
about
it
it.
because nobody would have filmed
The
it.
girl, the
It would have been the
26-year-old
police. It would have been the
EMT,
police's.
they got killed in
The
her
four
own apartment
policemen's word
when they were
against
conducting the wrong search.
a dead
in the wrong
man's
apartment.
word.
And because this happened in Minnesota, we in San Antonio would have heard about it
Would've never heard of
a week
it.
after the verdict came out of the court.
Or it would have been
proceeding.
on trial,
Exactly.
national
And
TV.
And if you lived in
Oh, we would've
Japan, you
never known
definitely
it all.
would have known because we only got
Exactly.
movie channels.
What was Will Smith put something the other day? He said,
Exactly.
Racism isn't going away.
It's not getting worse. It's
he
being
said
filmed.
It's gotten worse. It's just being filmed. There you go.
That's right.
Racism hasn't gotten worse. It's just being filmed.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying the stats show violent crime, violent racial issues are actually going down. It's just the fact that we can get the news immediately. They live. We saw the guy get his neck live.
And I think that's what
That's
has affected
why.
it. You can't deny
Yes.
any of that. And
Yeah,
has affected a lot of
Yes.
people.
But the
because you
thing
literally
is-
saw
And
it.
once again, but in South Texas,
But you know what?
But the media didn't record that. The media didn't record
I
that.
get what she's
A
saying.
bystander.
We didn't have this.
Yeah.
We
So
saw
you
it.
wouldn't-
So
wouldn't-
that's
it wouldn't
where
be
the
nothing.
passion came
Right.
from.
Hit
once
us.
again,
It hit us.
growing up in the 80s and 90s in South Texas, you're like, some police stepped on some black dude's neck till he died up in Minnesota. And you're like, no way, dude. That doesn't make any sense.
I still see it.
no
You
way
know,
that
even
happened.
after George Floyd, you still see excessive. I mean, throughout this whole entire last week and a half,
Yes.
I've still been seeing clips of excessive force of police doing certain things
SAPD,
that violating
the other night
people's rights.
just shot wooden bullet, not rubber, wood, at a reporter.
Oh, I heard
I
about
believe
it.
it was KSAT 12. They're shooting reporters now.
My cousin, who's a cameraman,
What are you doing?
refuses to work because they are being targeted.
Yeah, they're being targeted.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
did
they
y'all
are.
hear that? That's again. That's coming from about right center field. She said her
Right
cousin
center field.
is a
Yeah.
filmmaker. Is a
KTLA.
He works for
In LA.
KTLA in LA. And he's
Well,
refusing to work because they're targeting cameramen.
Listen.
I
we
guess
need to
no, but
stop.
hold on,
We
Mike.
have
But
to
that makes sense, right?
Listen.
It's like being
Oh
in
my
war.
God.
You're gonna take out the comm guy because you take out the comm
No.
guy, then
I
I
am
mean,
so
it happened
pissed
a while back. They attacked
Listen.
the filmmaker and the camera and they ended up at the hospital.
And here's
Yeah.
the deal with that. I am so sick and tired of people in America thinking LA and New York are representative of America.
Agreed.
I'm sick of this shit. We hear, oh, this happened in New York City. All right.
I don't know,
Oh,
you're-
this happened in LA. Yeah, that's New York and LA.
Trump
That
did.
ain't happening here. Like, give me a break. Like, it does happen here, but not in the amount. New York and LA are not America. I'm so sick of this shit.
So extreme.
Just like whenever you hear, oh, there's Twitter outrage. There's outrage on Twitter because bullshit. It's the same people that live in New York and LA in their mom's basement.
Sydney
They got
Valley.
shit else to do, and they go back and forth because it's like I don't even know anything about. And not even racial related stuff, just in general. It's like, dude, LA and New York are not representative of America.
I agree.
They're not.
How did you guys feel? And I'm gonna ask each one of y'all separately, all y'all's own answers. Just recently, this is recent current events. The white lady in Central Park.
Oh my God.
Was walking her dog without a collar, and an African American male told her, "Hey, you need to put a leash on your dog." Words ensued. She called the cops. She said, "There's a black man. He's harassing me. He's gonna attack me."
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
But the man's filming. So we're going back to what we're talking about 25 years ago. Imagine if he didn't have a phone.
Oh, you'd be in
Guilty by association.
Guilty by association. He'd be another guy on the fucking Netflix show, freaking spending 30 years.
Innocent
because
files.
He told somebody.
It's called
No way. No way. You know why? You know why?
The racist guy.
I just go like this
Do
way.
you know why I don't watch that stuff? I can't watch that stuff because you know what got me as far as racial. Like you're gonna laugh, but I don't give a shit. The Green Mile. I can't watch it because of the Green
I
Mile.
know a lot of people who cry
What
that
was the,
Green Mile.
Me?
What was the one where Matthew McConaughey was the lawyer for?
Yes.
For what's
Samuel L.
his-
Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh.
He went down for something. And
It's called
and Matthew
Justice or,
McConaughey was the lawyer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stuff like that, and y'all were like, "Oh, y'all need to watch 12 Years as a Slave." Or fuck, no, I don't. That one messed me up. I don't need to watch.
And
No,
that's
I
just
don't need
a-
to watch that.
It's called A Time to Kill.
The Time to
A
Kill.
Time to Kill.
Well,
A
that's
Time
what-
to Kill and Green Mile Jack.
And those are all
I don't
just
need to
small
watch
instances
any
what
of that.
happens all the time, every single day. You know what I'm saying? That's where there's a problem.
That's why I can't.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, State of Jones. State of Jones.
Lincoln Lawyer.
You need to watch that one. That one's
Mississippi
good.
Burning.
Hey, but I want to know about Mattis.
Oh yeah.
So they want to know.
Before we go,
Mattis.
before I let you go, because I know you're the owner in the different.
Is it past your bedtime already?
So I have
No,
two
it's
military
past
guys, right? I got a retired Marine and I got a retired sailor, and then me and Sean over
Thanks,
here,
Michelle.
right? General Mattis today.
Ow.
At first it was just one source, but now it's been I've been watching it's multiple sources. Was he not your boss at one point in time? Was he not your boss at one point in
He
time?
signed off my combat action agreement.
Okay. He was my boss at one point in time. And the only reason I'm really pushing
He fired
this
my boss.
is yeah, you're right. Yeah, he did.
3-4?
Yeah,
3-1.
3-1 in country. So, Sean,
fired
I'm not leaving it
Colonel
out.
Donnelly.
I just want to address this because somebody was watching. They wanted to get our input on it. This is my input, and I'll let the two other retirees give their input as well. My input is that he was my boss at one point in time. Even though there was the 1st Marine Division, he was your boss at one time.
Yeah.
And multiple Marine generals that have been in the Trump administration have walked for
Yep.
one reason or another.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I see it as General Mattis across the military, not just the Marine Corps, but across the military, he is like a god, not a god. Please, all my people from church, I don't mean not like
I would say Navy and Marine Corps because he really didn't.
No,
command
even in the Army.
Air Force
Let me
and
tell you,
Army.
I visited my daughter's friends that are Army Rangers. You know, my daughter's an Army Ranger.
Right.
I visited all their friends. Guess what they have as like a statue in their thing? General Mattis. And like, well, you know, he's wearing like a priest outfit, kind of. It's got Mattis. So, what I'm trying to get to is, he was my leader. He stood for everything that I stood for as a Marine, and he walked away for a reason. He had his personal reasons and he had his professional reasons.
Yep.
General Kelly walked away, right? General Dunford walked away.
Yep.
These are freaking. They're not just officers that made it to a certain rank. These dudes are walking You're going to hear about these guys 150 years from now. Our great-great-grandkids are going to hear about
But
them.
most people that
Right?
put on a star, no matter
So-
what branch or
So
politician,
what do you call
I
it?
agree.
Okay.
most
Bear
people, no
bear
matter
with me.
what
Bear with me.
branch.
Bear with me. General Kelly's a Gold Star father.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a Gold Star. Not only is he a general, bro. When I mean a Gold Star father, he had a son that served in the Marine Corps that got killed in action. So he was a dad and a general, right? But walked away from. Anyways, you're gonna do chicharrones, right? You can't do that. So he walked away. So
from South Texas.
in my
South
eyes,
Texas,
Manny,
can
in
I
my
have
eyes,
chicharrones?
it goes. If they walked away because it goes against their beliefs, well, I put myself with their Marine. I kind of, you know what I mean? That's the way I see it.
Yeah,
How
you know,
do you
and,
see
you know,
it?
the thing is that, you know, my perspective with Mattis is a whole different thing because, you know, I know him as a combat warfighter, you know, like, he was all about just bringing the fight to the enemy. We don't wait, we go
So you
down.
agree with that? Dunford, Kelly, and Mattis were not politicians.
Exactly.
No, they weren't.
True
I had my
statement.
issues with
You're right.
Dunford.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, they weren't. No, but I mean,
He was my neighbor.
but I mean,
I had issues with him.
They said stop eating the chicharrones by the phone.
Oh.
Hey, that crunching wasn't us. Those are live pork rinds going down in the background.
It's me.
so you know,
I'm there.
back to, you know, what I was saying, you know, like,
Oh my God, that was
once you are a four-star general, I mean, no matter what it is, you become a politician. I mean,
Regardless
you're,
if you
you're a
want to or not.
star,
Yeah.
whether you are, you know,
Yeah. How
working
did you
for
get there?
General Bailey, you know, everybody, all the generals, you know, Salinas, and they're all politicians. They got there for a reason.
Okay.
You know, they're all endorsed and promoted by who only? The President of the United States with congressional approvals. You know, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. You know, they want to be chief of staffs and all that. I mean, no matter how much we respect General Mattis and everything, when General Mattis went to the White House, he was a different man. I mean, he had to
I have to disagree.
you know.
I have to disagree.
Wait,
Because
let me say this.
although
A retired
I
Master Guns says he disagrees, right? That they're politicians because they're still war fighters. My brother, hold on, wait a minute.
No.
He's watching from Okinawa, Japan.
No.
That's like putting the
Master
businessman
Guns
Trump
Elliott.
into the office.
These guys make value-based
He's a
decisions,
businessman.
not politically.
Trump's like a
They,
man.
not politically. They got nothing to prove.
For real. People can't.
Ooh,
But once they
Endless
get out
reasons.
of the military, they are trying to prove
Yeah.
something. They're trying to keep up. They're trying to get somewhere.
I mean, even
So-
at a point, at E9, a Master Guns or Sergeant Major is a politician in a way. Because
I mean,
they
at
have
one
to
point,
be
I was a
liaison
politician that
between
way.
the officer and the enlisted. They have to be that. They have to walk that political line. And I'm speaking from my father-in-law is a retired Master Guns, and there is a point where, yeah, I'm a Marine, but E9 and then a flag officer, no matter what. Oh no, you didn't.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna tell you this, right? You know, when I was the third,
Hey, Chris.
It's not
when
going.
I was in Okinawa,
No, I'm
Japan,
saying like you're
I
right.
was the
Okay.
I haven't done no time.
Hold up.
You know, when I was in Okinawa, you know, I was the current operations chief for the meth. I worked directly for a 3-star general. And I'm telling you right now, when it came down to making decisions and stuff like that, even I, as a master sergeant, being his current operations chief, was political. I had to be political.
Okay, so the question still remains: Do you?
So for someone to say that you're not political,
But
Yeah.
they walked
bullshit.
away.
That's bullshit.
So the question is,
Yeah.
so this guy that we all look up to in the military, right? General Mattis.
Who, General?
He is like he's a warfighter. Like he never was a politician in the sense where he was like a truck. He was going to tell you
Trump's just
exactly
like a
what's
manager.
on his forehead.
Even
I think of Trump like a
Even if
manager.
he didn't like it.
look.
So that was the reason he never really got to become like the commandant of the Marine Corps, which is like the highest
He was supposed
ranking
to.
officer in the
he
Marine
was
Corps.
hated by the generals.
Right.
He was supposed to.
Because he's a war
Not his
fighter.
style.
So the question was,
Yeah.
really, how did they feel about him saying what he said about Trump? Because he denounced Trump today. He said he didn't agree with what
I
happened.
don't know. I can't speak to that because I didn't hear that announcement. So I couldn't say that.
Just listen to his testimony. Listen to General Mattis's testimony as Secretary of Defense, and listen to his testimony to Congress as a general. No change.
Gotcha.
You want to talk about someone who was put in a politic position but still spoke like he was one of us? General Mattis.
So
and he will be the last great general to do that. There will be no one else to do that.
My buddy Manny here, he's gonna get out. If you guys want to hang out with me, I'll stay on. But I really want to ask you guys like one more personal question where, you know, I want your beans, bro. I want to hear really what's in your heart, and don't hold back. Sean.
Yeah.
What do we have to do as a country, as an American who's not of black descent, whose color of skin is not black? What do we have to do that's going to finally say to the African American people, okay, man, we forgive you? And I say that because I saw a thing the other day, a little video of a bunch of Caucasian,
so you're saying like make us forgive us for like.
Let me tell you where it's coming from. I saw a bunch of Caucasian people. It was like a church congregation, were praying on some protesters, and they were on their knees. And some people are going to disagree with them being on their knees and praying, but they were asking for forgiveness from the African American community for not what they have done, but what their ancestors and ancestors and ancestors have done.
Well, we shouldn't.
They should, right?
But why should I, as a Mexican immigrant, coming from Mexican, have to go ahead and apologize to him? I also.
What do we have to do? What do we have to do as Americans, other than and when I'm saying this, other Americans other than black?
Yeah.
Where do you think that what do we have to do as a country to not just please the black community, but to say, okay, you know what, you guys are right. Like, where is the line? Where do we go?
So, first and foremost, my boy Howard said something. Acknowledge the problem first and hold them accountable. But I think it's something a little as like how you see people put all lives matter, right? And they're not saying Black Lives Matter. And some people don't understand how we as black people get upset when we see all lives matter. And it's because they're getting away from exactly what's happening. They're not addressing what's happening. So what I would say, we don't want an apology. We don't want you to ask for our forgiveness. We just want you to take responsibility for the past. And then it's just like if I did something dirty to you, I need to own it. And then from there, it's about how I'm going to prove to you that you can trust me again, that I have your back again, and that we can get back to a place where we trust each other. You know what I'm saying? But if I just say I'm sorry and then don't do anything, then you're not going to really feel like we can get back to the level we were before I messed up. So it's not even saying that like Mike's ever messed up. It's more just, for me, it's just standing up. Whether that's helping with the petitions, whether that's donating somehow, whether that's just voting, yes. Whatever it is, but I definitely never want an apology. I definitely never want you to ask for my forgiveness. It's strictly just addressing that racism does exist, which like Mike has and most people do. And then from there, just making sure that what they're instilling as a person, as an individual, because I have met racist people, even though they had black friends and like that, like, bro, you're still racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is. But for me, it's just acknowledging the fact, taking responsibility, and then doing something in action rather than just talking. Because words can only, you know what I'm saying? Just like me, I can post all day. I did the Blackout Tuesday yesterday, but from there it was everything. Yeah, it did nothing.
Yeah, I changed my shit to black. Bro.
I did.
You know what I'm saying? It did nothing. What does it do? But I need to actually take action. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I've been doing. What
it does is just lets for me personally, what it does for me is it lets my African American friends know that I stand in solidarity with them. That I feel that I know that they're hurting.
That. I mean,
that's why I did it.
And, it's funny. I had several Mexican friends and a couple white actually write me and be like, "Hey, bro, I just want you to know that I see, I stand for you. I have your support. I understand you as a black man probably go through some things, and I just want to let you know that I appreciate and I see what you've gone through. Acknowledgement. And that's just really all it is. And I think a lot of people have gone through this road and they're not acknowledging it, which is why their kids say nigga, which is why all this culture is where it is, and it falls on us as black people too. We all have to take responsibility. You know what I'm saying?
So if I go to Manny, you said something that I wanted to touch on. You as African Americans, and I say you because you're African American, right?
Yes, sir.
Have to take responsibility.
We all do.
Not only do we as as people, and then we keep saying African American, and I get people on here like if we just call everybody a person, I get it. That would be great and dandy. We'd live in a happy-go-lucky world, but that's not the case, right? I want to tell you, because it's my Wacky Wednesday, right? I want to tell you. I know he's like, well, why did you do that? And I'm not arguing with you, Mike, but I am. You know, I did it because I want to let anybody that even questioned me.
Yeah.
I stand with Black Lives Matter. I stand with African Americans who are hurting. I stand because being a devil's advocate on the wall looking in, it's fucked up. It's a fucked up situation. Our country has been doing this shit over and over and over again. And the shit, what do you want them to do? It's like the meme that I saw where Colin Kaepernick is freaking kneeling peacefully. People are holding up signs peacefully. People, Martin Luther King walked peacefully. He walked peacefully. You said Martin Luther King, right? He walked peacefully. But guess what happened at the end of the day, Mike?
Yeah.
He got fucking killed by a goddamn racist son of a bitch, right? So all that peaceful walking went where? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? He did a lot of change. I get it. I'm with you.
No, it doesn't matter. You're gonna have hate.
It's gonna happen.
What. Hate
So-
is a human trait.
So here's how you
I
can
wanna
help.
tell
Look,
you
your son said that you can help, and you can help change by accepting accountability, educate, take action, or make action, and move forward.
But see, that's an empty statement.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
I
is.
feel like it's
Because
mutual respect.
There you go.
No.
That's exactly what
Y'all
kind
are-
of statement
y'all are
is.
missing
So hold
the
on, I'm
point.
gonna get to you in a
You're
minute,
missing
Mike.
the point,
So I was telling
You're
you
missing the point.
that, you know, me being a Mexican American man, right? I'm with you guys 100%, and I agree with 99.9% of the stuff that comes across, right? I don't agree with, you know, we brought up earlier about the rioting and doing, you know, fucking up small business. That I don't agree with whatsoever. Defacing monuments and shit like that. But me as a person, for you coming on here, I want to tell you like, and I'm not
What?
kicking you off yet. I'm not kicking this guy off.
Yeah, hurry up, fool.
But I want to tell you,
want?
thank you, bro,
Water?
for
Where's your,
for
give me your water
coming
bottle.
on here and just showing me, you know, your true self. I really am with you guys, and I feel for you, if that makes sense. I feel for you, and I hope that us as Americans we learn from this.
And just give me a couple water.
And we do better. Man, what you want?
Look, when it all comes down, you talk to Sean, and you told him, you know, like, what do we need to do? At the end of the day, you know, the only thing that we can do, number one, support them, but at the same time, is vote. You gotta get out there and vote, because if we keep and maintain, you know, one thing that I would definitely grab is fucking term limits. Term limits on fucking everyone from Congress to senators and everything, because guess what? If you're not cutting it, why do I need to keep you there?
You mean career politicians?
Career politicians need to go. You should have a term limit. You know,
he said that I got
you know, they need to go ahead and get out of there. You know, term limits, you've done your time, it's time to go. But they don't want to do that because they want to get rich.
Yeah.
All right? They want to get rich. But that's, if you want to change, that's where change is at.
So as
So you're saying that by voting, that's going to help the Black Lives Matter movement?
By voting, you start going ahead and getting more people, the people to represent you. More people, your people can actually run and get elected. If you have term limits, it's more possibility for people like the black community, Asians, Mexicans, to get into office. Why? Because you're not stuck in the. We see it in the promotion in promotions. You got a master guns that can never go any further. He's already 25 years, and guess what? He's staying and he's staying and he's staying. And how many promotions does that guy hold? And he is a dirtbag. We all know he's a dirtbag. He doesn't do shit. He's worthless.
And why
he's
is
just
he
collecting a
dirtbag?
paycheck.
And why is it dirtbag?
Because he's a
He's
politician.
at the top part. He's at the top. He can't go any higher.
He can't go any further. He's not being held accountable. And guess what?
So
Your wife
he
has a
just
good
stays.
point.
So to sum up
Local
your answer
elections
your answer
starts
is,
with the local elections.
Your answer
Thank you.
is that
Oh my
going
God.
out and vote.
That's why you married her.
Voting is one of the biggest ones.
That's your
man.
wife.
We have to get out there and vote, but at the same time,
She
we
said
have
that.
to want change at the government level.
Okay.
We have to change the government.
Mike,
Is it my turn?
so
Yeah, Mike.
your question is what don't and try to
Oh, man, I got
establish.
the last question,
Hold on.
man.
What?
Wait, because he had an answer for it.
Yeah, you talk a lot.
He was
Okay.
He does.
He's saving his answer. He's ready.
Okay, so number one, I'm not apologizing for the past. I can't.
Yeah, you should.
I'm apologizing. I can't.
You should because you were part of it.
No, I'm not. Listen,
don't
I
know.
have
I wasn't a part of it.
my great, I think it's three great grandfathers was an officer in the Confederate Army in Louisiana, 7th Infantry. Why should I apologize for that? He felt what he felt at the time. We cannot apply today's societal standards to the past. And we keep doing that. We keep doing that. Everybody, and I tried this with my own kids. I said, what do you think of when you think of the word slavery? And they went, America. Oh,
Nice.
really? You don't know that shit's going on right now in San Antonio? You don't know there's slavery going on right now in San Antonio? You automatically want to go to black people in the 16 to the 1800s. You really want to do that? Really? That makes no sense. There's slavery going on today, but you want me to apologize for something I had nothing to do with? Yeah, that's my blood, but it's beside the point. And also, I can get a whole history lesson on how they fought for their state and not. We weren't thought of as the United States until World War II. But anyway, it drives me crazy when people are like, white people need to, apologize for the past. No, I had nothing to do with that. You were not a slave. I was never a slave owner. At the height of slavery in 1860, 1.8% of Americans owned slaves. The 1%. What are you hearing about today in 2020? The 1%. It's always that top percent is the ones that own slaves. It's always that top 1% that continues to own the wealth today. So think about that. Think about that correlation. But what were you saying about what was your question?
No, my question was
in the elections. Like, you want to blame Trump, fine, whatever. He's a high figurehead, whatever. I think Trump has whatever. He's a freaking puppet. Focus on your local election. Everyone turns out for the presidential election every 4 years, but no one pays attention what the hell's going on in their own area. How many of you in Texas, living in Texas, know exactly who your representative is and what he stands for? How many of you understand what gerrymandering is? How many of you understand what redlining is? Henry Quayla. How many of you understand, for me, how many of you understand what redlining was? Back in the way back in it started way back in the way days. How many of you understand what Black Wall Street was and what happened in 1921? How many of you, there's all these things that happened. How many of you know that Trump has nothing to do with your everyday life? Can we get over Trump?
My dad used to say that. My dad used to tell me that if you don't make $200,000 a year or more, no, not that you shouldn't. This is what he told me. If you don't make over $200,000 a year, whoever's the president doesn't mean a goddamn thing to you.
It doesn't matter who the president is.
I don't really believe that nowadays. But let's go back to my original question.
Governor and down.
What do we have to do as a country to make our country?
Well, before he answers, this is what my boy Howard said. This is what it is in a nutshell. We do not want an apology. He said it in caps. We do not want an apology. We want equality.
There you
Quality.
And that's all it is. Like, so
Very agreed.
It's. I mean, the voting. Yes, we gotta vote.
Say it one more time, bro.
We do not want an apology. We want equality.
But who gives you that?
Everybody. Everybody needs to be on the same page. And if at any point you feel like you fell short of giving that equality, then that's what you have to address. And that's where it's like it can't happen again.
But
if you always have.
But once again,
It's a good one.
I challenge everyone to look up the voter turnout percentage for the last time the governor of your state was elected or the mayor of your town was elected. What was the percentage voter turnout rate?
Oh, no, bro. They keep Beto out and I'm done.
What? Who? Get the
So real
fuck
quick,
out of-
change his name to fucking Beto so he can
You
vote
say-
and get the
you mean
Mexican
the
vote.
fake Mexican?
Easy.
He's
So he can get the
Irish.
Mexican vote.
Easy.
You want to talk about
The
pandering?
question.
That's like Richie Valenzuela.
Mike,
just kidding.
U.S. Navy retired.
You know what's up?
What do we have to do as a good old USA to make our country what it should be?
Well, I mean, we still need to work on relations, but when you look at race relations, class, I think it's more. I don't think it's so much race relations. I think it's class. I think it's a class system. I think it's more of the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. I don't think that it is, because otherwise, how is it that you have people of all races that are rich, that are calling the shots behind the scenes? You have people that, and it's insane to me how people, once again, they believe that of the national level, the way our system of government is set up, it is for the states to decide what is going on with federal oversight. Focus on what is going on at the state level. And if you don't like what's going on at that state or city level, you have the freedom to move. Like get out. Move. I'm interested to see, after all this COVID bullshit, and I have 20 years of medical background knowledge, COVID was bullshit anyway. So I'm interested to see what happens to the urban areas after COVID plus this. People are already leaving. WhereMoneyWalks.com. Look it up. Because it shows where people are moving from and where people are moving to. People are leaving California, Illinois, and New York in droves. And where are they going? South. Here. Because, why? Because of how we are. I have lived in Chicago. I've lived in Virginia Beach, Virginia Beach and DC area. I've lived in Southern California. I've lived in Texas. So all four corners of the United States, I have lived for periods longer than 4 years. And the most racism that I ever saw, what the hell I ever saw, was in Chicago, Virginia, DC, LA. Not the South. And my sister lives in Mobile, Alabama. And she tells me that some things that happened, and I'm like, no, man, that ain't nothing compared to Virginia Beach, DC, Baltimore. I have seen it. I've just seen it, and of course I didn't speak up. My bad. But it's like, dude, it's funny how everyone thinks all that racism shit happens in the South. Y'all need to wake the hell up and do some traveling. You'd be amazed. And I saw it as a white guy sitting back.
But to address what Bumper said, that's it. So it's like we don't.
I'm sorry, did I get off on it?
No, you didn't. But to address what Bumper said, it's like that was it. You said you've seen it, and you didn't address it.
I know.
And that's where. That is where you see it as you gotta take responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where it's like we can still see it as a form of racism, or not racism, neglect or ignorance. How you feel about Trump? You know what I'm saying? And so it's just, again, it falls on us too. But that's where it's like it was your responsibility to address that.
I'm getting a message right now. Chicago, and that's of all races.
Yeah.
Chicago. If you look at LA.
And it's going back to that statement that says it doesn't bother you unless it affects you.
Exactly. But if you look at LA, bring up LA, and everyone says California is a melting pot. Man, I was stationed for 15 plus years in Southern California, and the racism that is blatant in California drives me nuts. Because everybody thinks California is just this welcoming, laid-back place. No, it is not.
We're gonna get deep. We're gonna get deeper, man. Real quick, we're not Indian. We're gonna go just a little bit more because I think I'm starting to get what I want out of over here. And you know, if Manny leaves, hey, there's still a brown guy here, right? But Manny, I want to all my guests, bro. I really face to face, bro. Hermano, I want to tell you, thank you for coming at the last minute. Thank you for
having me
over. For coming and hanging out with us and giving us your perspective, dude. Because I think this is like what the world needs to see, bro. You know what I mean? Instead of us, you know, and I'm not holding up against protests or anything like that, but I think this is something that people can sit around and be like, hey, you're right here at the table with us. We may not be able to hear you,
we see you.
My buddy James Robinson is watching right now. Check how close Floyd was. He played basketball with him, bro, in school. He was personal friends with Floyd. And he did a post. It really what touches man how small the world is. Somebody from my hometown actually knew him. But
yeah, man. At the end of the day, it's all about you willing to want to change. I don't know you, but you know what? I mean, I'm here talking, trying to find out what we need to do to make things better. And I think if everybody takes this conversation that we have and instills the same thing that we're actually trying to do and being able to talk to each other to make things better, I think that's a step forward to go ahead and making change. It's not about just going ahead and having your way and, like you said, like you got to get away. And I tell everybody, get away from Fox, get away from CNN, do your fucking research. Figure it on your own. Don't even do Univision. That's fucking.
Hey, they're wrong.
Do your own research. But
comes on, hell yeah.
Open your mind. Don't be close-minded, and just accept. Like I talked to my buddy today. Accept when you're wrong. Don't assume just because you're wrong and somebody proves you wrong that you're gonna pivot and bring something else just to try to go ahead and get away from that.
That's what people do on social media.
And that's what they need to do. And that's why we are where we're at right now.
Yeah.
That is exactly why we're at where we're at right now, because people don't want to change and they're keyboard fucking warriors.
Yeah.
They're lawyers. They're fucking lawyers, doctors, fucking they're everything on there. They know how to do everything. They even know the job of the president of the United States because they're calling him a coward and this and that.
That's me.
Because he went to a bunker, but not knowing that the social service, the Secret Service, actually makes a fucking call. They make the call. They assess the situation and they take him down. He has no control of that. The moment they say you're going to the bunker, he's going to the bunker.
But see, there's people
don't know.
People don't understand protocol.
Right, they don't understand protocol, and the only thing I see is he's a coward. But if you do your research, that's what I'm saying. Do your research, and your research is not fucking Fox News and CNN or Google. We have to get one of those independent news people that are neutral.
If you find those, let me know.
Yeah, and I probably won't. BBC probably.
Before I say my goodbye to you, I want to read 2 comments. One of them is from my buddy Eric Reyes, who's Master Guns, about to retire. Shit like this will bring us together. Talking about our personal feelings and not getting upset and taking time to talk. At the end of the day, the respect between you and all will keep you all from being divided. Awesome. My son said, doing this takes a level of respect for each other. Other people around the world don't share. I agree with you guys 100%.
So who was the guy that commented about your buddy with the
Yeah,
Eric Reyes.
Yeah.
So, and that's awesome.
Hold it. I have to let him go.
One last thing. I'm gonna go ahead. One last thing.
I have never met these 2 guys before tonight.
Oh, that's good.
I have never even met these guys before tonight. So, and we're able to do this, really? And we're not throwing bricks. That's at 1 a.m.
Oh my gosh! Don't say that because I gotta get up early.
This is for my son right here. It is prejudice and racist to believe that all black people are violent and thugs. Yes. But it's also prejudice for us to believe that all cops are fucking bad.
Yes.
When there's only a select few. This should be an instance of murder between a man and a man, not black and white.
Yep.
That's what we said. The media makes
the narrative.
It's
the narrative.
And it's basically, that's what it is. If teach your kids, this is my son right there. Obviously, he sees the difference. And it's our responsibility to ensure that they learn and they are not blinded and continue to trust and continue to teach their kids those values that there's no difference between a white, black, Asian. Yeah. It doesn't matter. We all fucking bleed the same color. Fucking red.
I don't believe it. Let me cut you.
Cut me.
Nah, I didn't say.
You know what needs to stop is violence. Police brutality.
Yeah.
In general.
My thing is, how do black cops feel?
So I have a friend. Her name is Latoya. She's a black cop with two sons. And I asked her yesterday how she felt, and I'm trying to remember the text. But long story short, she's like, of course I love my job, and I want to support the blue because I am a cop. But at the end of the day, like, she still feels scared for her 2 black
Hold those
sons.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Because we're getting deep.
Yeah.
We're getting deep
Yeah,
right
finish it
Let's
off.
see
Yeah.
next
But
Wacky
Yeah,
Wednesday.
think about
Yes.
But before you go, Manny,
They're not gonna want me back.
Neta, thank you for coming, bro, at the last minute.
Yep.
Thank you for
have to get
giving
up
me
my
your
little
point of view.
Oh.
I value
Hey,
you
I
as
tell
a
you what,
friend.
she needs a new home.
I
I'll let
value
you
you as a
know.
man, and I
My
value
dogs
you
are
as a
gonna go
human being, bro.
crazy.
I really
Yeah.
appreciate it, bro.
No, and thank you for inviting me over. Like I said, it's something that needs to be done, and you know, it's a
Yes,
good cause.
definitely.
I consider it a
There
good
is
cause.
good cops.
And you know, like I said, you know, I've never met Mike.
My
Sean,
sister's
you know,
gonna be a
you know,
cop.
It was a pleasure actually
Scary.
sitting down with you
Yeah,
guys.
it's very
And
scary.
no matter our views, at the end of the day, like
You know what? Actually, I do. I'll take it.
we
It's on the way
talk
out the door.
I'll just put it right
beings.
here.
Okay.
We weren't above each other. No one was the dictator. Although you tried to be a dictator
Yeah,
at one
man.
point,
Yeah.
but you know, like
It's Bumpers Wacky Wednesday, bro. What's going on
you
here?
know, other than that, thanks a lot for everything, man. I really appreciate it. You know,
Thank you, man.
Mike, it was a pleasure meeting you. Okay,
Good to meet you.
Stay safe out there.
We're not social distancing.
no, that's on standby right now until the lights are over.
Oh, okay.
And we'll hang out when it's
So,
not a Wacky Wednesday and we're
uh,
not live. Thank you for coming.
The scorpion, dragon, hornets. I think they're still on the border.
Right now we're in
The
hurricane season.
flame-throwing squirrels are still on hold with the hornets.
Yeah, we're in hurricane season right now. Level
So-
6 of Jumanji.
Yeah. So
Keep that in mind.
once everything's over, then they'll come back in.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, we're still here. So, I mean, now, you know, I'm gonna represent my people, right? Or what do you mean, you people? I honestly, I want to keep it more black and white, dude. Be real with you. If you guys are alright with that, like, I really want to keep it black and white. You know, and just seeing 1 or 2 comments of saying this is genuine, this is what people need to see. This is why we do what I do. This is why I'm doing what I do. Some of you guys might find it funny. Some of you guys might be like, I'm not doing this for attention, bro. I'm not making a dime from this, right? Like, it's just it started during quarantine, and I just kept it going. And I just want to talk about current events, man. We need to hear it instead of hearing it from the news. You know, I want to ask these guys questions that people are scared to ask a black guy, are scared to ask a white guy because they don't want to hear the answers.
I love those, man.
They don't want to hear the answers. You know.
I love that shit.
And I'll go on here and say it. Bradley hasn't come on here. He must be really busy. I have an African American Marine. His name is Bradley. I consider him my little brother, man. Great guy, lives in Dallas. And we had a conversation one time, and I left there and I was upset with myself because I think that I left in his head a wrong way of thinking. Hopefully, he never thought that in any way I meant it in any kind of derogatory way, because I didn't mean it in a derogatory way. But this is what I'm getting at. When Barack Obama became president, right? My thought process was, my idiotic thought process was, if an African American can come from wherever he came from and become the president of the United States and be the most powerful man in the world, pretty much. You're the president of the United States, you're the most powerful man in the world. Period, point blank. That's the way I see it, right? So an African American male became the first African American president, most powerful man in the world. What excuse do African Americans have now? What excuse do you have that the man is holding you down, right? Because that's what you always hear, like the man's holding me back. That's why I can't do this. That's why I can't do that.
What was his reply?
But his reply was that's not right. That's because I don't know the struggle. Just because one person made it doesn't mean that all other African Americans are given the same opportunity, right? So when I was driving home, like everybody was asleep, I was driving back from Dallas at 3.5 hours back to San Antonio, and driving back, it bothered me because I consider him my brother, like literally, like I consider him my brother, and it really bothered me that I hope that he didn't take that I meant that in any kind of derogatory way. But what I was trying to say was like what I said, like what excuse does the African American have if they become the president of the United States of America? What you say?
I feel like at the end of the day, you don't have excuses for anything, right? Like, I truly believe my 2 daughters can do and become anything they want to become, as long as they put in the work. Now, there's
There you go.
there's no excuses, but I can tell you that it's more obstacles. Does that make sense? There's more obstacles and there's more of a struggle. It's like I literally last week I went to the mall and I felt like when I was in the store somebody was following me. You know what I'm saying?
Because you're black.
Because I'm black. That's just how I feel. When I feel like when I get pulled over, I gotta be a little extra nice or cautious. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like there's more struggle and there's more obstacles. Now do I agree there's no excuse? Because like, you know, my brother, I was part of Big Brothers and Sisters growing up. My mom put me in there because my dad passed away. I call my brother, still is to this day. He was born in Mobile, Alabama, poor, uneducated, but he got out. Officer, he worked at the Pentagon. He's like a huge thing. You know what I'm saying? But I always looked up to him because he never had excuses, but he always talked about his struggle and how he didn't let things get in his way. You know what I'm saying? So do I think anything is possible? 1,000%. So no, there is no excuses, but what we have to address is that there is more struggle and there is more obstacles.
Agreed.
You know me?
Which goes to that video that my wife showed me the day that I brought up in my other one. Have you seen that video where the white guy, there's all different colors of people, and he said, hey, we're going to run a race. The winner of this race is going to get a $100 bill. You ever seen that? I'll explain it to you real quick. So the guy says, hey, we're going to run this race. I want everybody to get on the line. He holds up a $100 bill, and he says, this $100 bill, whoever wins this race will win this $100 bill. But before we start the race, no, everybody's on the line, right? He says, if you were raised with both parents, take 5 steps forward. Boom. People took 5 steps forward. If you never had to worry about your cell phone being turned off, take 5 steps forward. Right? If you never had to worry about your electricity being turned off, whatever, take 5 steps forward. Now he stopped them and he said, now stop and turn around and look back. You know who was at that line?
Minorities.
There was some white people too. But it's life though. Like, you know, that is the world that we live in. Yeah, so what I'm saying is, like, I really felt bad that I hope he didn't think that I meant that in a bad way. All I'm saying is that I saw it at a point in time that the President of the United States, holding the most highest power in the world, could become president, that there's no more excuses. There's no more excuses for, hey,
Not true.
I can't do this because this. But I'm wrong.
You were.
I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong. Because there's so many more obstacles thrown at him than anybody else.
What? One person did it, and so like, oh, everybody should. No.
That's like saying if a Mexican goes into the office, should they all, you know, it's the same narrative. It's like, do you expect them all to do well just because there's
One person did it? Yep. I mean, come on. So, and my take on that is people don't understand. You know, and
True, Raylan. I know. I saw that.
And I say that because you talk to any high school, college age person about history, they're like, oh, I hate history. Aha, that tells me everything I need to know about you. You know what the hell you're talking about. Because people need to understand, Barack Obama was born in the 60s to a white woman with a dad, immigrant from Africa, and raised by white grandparents in Hawaii. He should never have been anything more than a janitor in today's standards. Think about that for a minute. You were, and I can say this because I have children that are, he was a half-breed, as they would say in the 60s. How in the hell, my children are too.
Good.
How in the hell did he make it to president? How? It doesn't matter. He did it. But just because one person did it doesn't mean everybody else can. That's the extreme example.
That's too extreme.
And too many people were like, oh, Obama's president, there goes the end of racism, there goes race relations in our country.
Sure, it got worse.
Bullshit. It got worse under him.
It
got worse
and
under
people
him.
don't speak to that.
It got worse under Obama.
It did.
How? When people were like, oh, that's the end of it, we got a black president. No, you're not listening. Look at what he had to accomplish to even get to that point. He should not be. How many black men today are, born to a one parent is black, one parent is white, and they've had to struggle. They've had to struggle. Just because one guy does it doesn't mean everybody how come you aren't president? Why aren't you running for president? Loser. Loser. You see what I mean? Like, well, Obama did it. How come you didn't, loser? You know what I mean? Like, that's the worst excuse ever. And everybody points to, and everybody on the right, everybody on the left, always uses that one extreme example as an example. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Dude, that was one person, man. Come on.
Gotcha.
You know?
That kind of, what do you call it? You know, somebody asked me the other day if I've ever experienced racism, and I really haven't. I gave the thing on Saturday, like I went to an Easter church in Texas, yeah. You know, and we all grew up here in South Texas, so like I was saying, Manny grew up in California. You know, kind of a little different than us. But you've been to a quinceanera, you've been to a shitload of quinceaneras. That's what I mean. Like I'm just using that as an example. Like,
man, I've been
here in South Texas, it's so our cultures are so intertwined, whether we want to or not.
Once again, it goes back to the culture.
Now I'm going to ask you a real question here, Mike, and I want you to be honest with me. And I'm going to ask you the same question, but it's going to be opposite. If your daughter came to you, right, and she brought you freaking my buddy Abe from freaking Africa.
You're asking the wrong person, man.
Listen, but black as black can be.
Yeah.
I want your honest opinion. If your daughter walked in and said, "Dad, we already engaged. I know you haven't met him. You know, I was at college. I fell in love. Here's my fiance. We want to spend the rest of our life together," and he's black. What's your answer?
I want to get to know him. That's why I'm saying you're asking the wrong person, man.
I want to know your answer. It's not about asking the wrong person. I want to know your answer.
That is you're asking the wrong person that, because my kids alone, I have 4 kids by 3 different women. All 3 women are non-white. So you're asking the wrong person. Like, I'm different in that aspect because I have that exposure. If you want to bring, that prince that keeps emailing me about bank accounts, then fine. I mean, he's a prince, marry him, But no, I want to get to know him. What is his intent? What does he plan on doing? What is his plans? Where's his future? How was he raised? Where was
typical dad? Typical dad stuff.
That's what I'm saying. You're asking
the wrong person.
Color
wouldn't matter.
No, because you're asking the wrong person.
Sean, you got beautiful daughters. They come home and said, "Dad, I found this freaking cholo on the west side. I really love him. I was going to St. Mary's University. I went out and had me a Dairy Queen. I fell in love with him, and he's not going to. I'm giving you I'm giving you a whole different scenario.
Yeah,
has nothing going for him whatsoever, but she loves him. Right? It's gonna be your answer.
It's not. Yeah, it's definitely not about the cholo. It's about.
Has nothing going for
Yeah,
him.
it's about the fact he has nothing going for him.
Yeah.
So it's like you have your whole life ahead of you. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, I'm just gonna address some of the decisions and mistakes I made in the past, and give her that advice of what she should be doing. Because first of all, do you really understand what love is? Do you really understand what marriage is?
Yeah.
And then, you know what I'm saying? But no, it has nothing to do with race.
So nothing to do with race.
No, I think I have more problems. Like, is he 45 and you're 22? I think that would bother me more.
Because like he said,
then you have an Epstein type.
I have 2 daughters.
Yeah.
I have one that's with a Mexican and white woman, and then my other daughter's with a black woman. So it's like I don't.
You should have seen my wedding, man. Oh my gosh! Even my dad, who's like the most right-wing person that Trump supporter that I know, he was sitting there like, "No shortage of cultures, there is there, son." Like it was exposure for him too, and it was tons of people, different.
Put her on, dude. Put her on.
So it was crazy.
I'm almost done. I'm doing this podcast.
Put her on.
That's his daughter.
Yes.
We're just talking about you. That's probably why she
I'm
called.
just talking about you. I'll probably leave in like 10, 15 minutes, babe.
Is that your twin?
No, it's my the twins. All right, I love you. I'm gonna call you as soon as I leave. Yes, bye, babe.
And that's kind of why I really wanted to do this one. You want your kids to be happy as long as they treat your child as an equal and are good to them. Color their skin shouldn't matter. Julie's Julie's gonna be his dad is an awesome comment. That's called parenting. Every parent should have that same approach. You guys both attacked it as a parent.
Claire, I've always been told that racism is different depending on the area of Texas you're in. Yes. That is definitely true.
And Chris had a right field. I was 34 and she was 22.
Chris.
Who?
Chris, who is it?
Chris, that's why he said, hey now.
Hey, Chris.
Chris, my buddy Chris in Victoria.
Oh.
His wife's a lot younger than him.
Chris, seriously, dude?
Hey, bro, you remind me a lot of Chris. He's a good guy.
Trained, bro?
He's a
Really?
He has beautiful kids, bro. They have twins. They have
Well,
beautiful
he better. His wife's 22. Damn.
Chris, that's your people, bro. That's your people.
Oh,
right
is he
there.
white?
Yeah, he's a white guy.
Oh, let me guess. The 22-year-old?
No.
She Mexican?
No.
I was way off, man.
He said she was hot, bro.
Yeah, she was?
Yeah.
But
But we met when she was 14.
Oh,
why you say Preston? Why you say Preston?
But you know, I before
She was hot, man. Hey, do your thing.
he's gonna have to get ready to go. You know, so we'll kind of start wrapping things up.
Ah, shit. My wife.
What happened?
She heard you. She heard
More
you.
important question.
What is it?
What if he's liberal, Mike?
Oh.
Okay.
Shit. Hell, I gotta hear
Why
this
is she
shit.
asking you that,
My
Mike?
wife's gonna be my wife's gonna be the freaking that person. Alright. So, okay. Politics really doesn't matter. I mean, you learn something, and trust me, I used to be that hardcore. I left the GOP years ago because of different reasons. But I've also learned in my living across the United States, a California liberal is way different than a Texas liberal. You know, like if you took a liberal in Texas, the most liberal person in Austin, because Austin is California .1, and put them, you take Austin, you take someone from Austin, born and raised in Austin, never left Austin ever because they're scared, they probably don't own guns and they're vegans, and you put them in LA, LA would say they were conservatives. It's just the way it is.
Okay, so back to the question. The question
If
is,
he was a liberal, which liberal? California or Texas?
so he was liberal in general. If he was liberal in general,
It depends. I
you
mean,
still put on the father hat.
yeah. Oh yeah. I put on the father hat no matter what. That's my daughter, man. I got 3 of them, dude. I don't care. But it's, I would again. I want to know, where he's going, what he's doing, how old is he, and
So age matters.
Age does matter. Age matters. What the hell's a 40-year-old man got with a 20-year-old woman? Rain, shut up.
I don't know if you guys can vouch for this, but like,
Why is she
me
younger
growing
than
up,
you?
I remember there was some girls that we couldn't ask out. There was some girls, a small town, you couldn't ask out because you already knew the answer, and it wasn't because the girl didn't want to go out with you, because old timers, they talk like. You know what I mean? Parents talk, and you lived in Georgia, where I lived in San Antonio's kind of a different scenario because it's a big city. But where everybody knows everybody, it was like, I really want to ask this girl out, but I know the answer.
And you're like, nah, dude.
So it's not even worth you wasting your time because even if you do get to talk to her, be with her, I mean, you're not ever going to be at peace because she's always going to have to be hiding you in a sense. And that's just.
Does that mean you were hidden when you were dating us?
No,
Right.
It's just part of. I hope that we don't get like that, bro. I hope that we're not like that with our kids. You know what I mean? I hope.
Okay, I need to tell you that Hispanic girls are hot.
Oh yeah.
Apparently Hispanic girls are hot. There, I said it. Does that really need to be said? Seriously?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, 3 of my ex-wives are Hispanic.
God damn.
I mean, what? I'm just
Damn.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
Are you related?
No, I've been married twice.
You related?
Oh,
But my third one's gonna be smoking.
Because he's got like three baby mamas too.
Did it? Oh, you
Why are you putting my personal business on
Everybody,
TV, bro?
everybody on here is from
National
Evil, and
TV,
they know
you have
that.
like 26 followers. Calm the hell down.
Come on, everybody.
More than baby. I wouldn't even call them baby mamas. That's a bad term.
It is a bad term. I agree.
But how do you?
But one of them really is a baby mama.
There you go, Claire. Say it
Yeah.
again. Say it again, Claire.
What?
Say it again. Ooh, you guys are gonna be upset. Check it out. Hispanic guys are hot.
No.
Agree. No.
Actually, most people don't know Hispanic guys are the ones that coined the term metrosexual.
One day I'm gonna get her. This girl.
He wears Toms, man. He owns no guns. Are you insane?
So we got Japan, Australia.
That's ridiculous. I wear Toms.
And
I don't have no
Yeah,
guns.
that's
He's
offensive.
hot.
That's offensive, bro.
I don't give a shit. You know, I told you. You asked me to come here, and I told you. I warned you.
He's assuming that because you wear Toms.
You're gay.
No, I'm not.
Oh.
No.
And you just said that, bro. I saw your hand.
Not gay.
What did you say?
Just messing with me.
That's still
So the vegans are less than.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I don't understand vegan.
I just recently saw this show on
understand.
Netflix. It's called Game Changers. The Game Changers. Have you seen it?
No.
Check it out.
I've heard of it. No.
Well, so it's this guy.
the UFC dude.
Yeah.
What
He
he
tore both his knees.
Yeah.
He couldn't walk for 6 months. So he started doing research. He started doing research about vegans, and he saw that even back in like
The
gladiators, they were all vegan.
Vegetarian,
And they
cut
started
their
doing
bones.
blood work.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I've never done it.
Wacky
I like
Wednesday,
to stay-
they went from Trump to black and white. Now we're talking about vegans, dog.
I heard the same thing, like vegans are less than, but at the same time,
But and there is something to
It's
say
actually-
when you have high blood pressure, when you have all these medical problems, it's like cut out red meat. That's like the standard in the medical profession.
true.
Like, cut out, how much red meat do you have?
It's
Like,
true.
Okay, cut it out. All right. I don't eat that much red meat. I eat a lot of fish, but I was also married to an Asian
Chris,
lady, too.
are you
so-
serious, bro? This guy out of right field, bro.
What do you
He
think?
says, I think some gay guys are hot, but hey, who's judging?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Told you he reminds us of
Yeah,
you.
dude, here we go. Hey guys, but you know, we kind of touched on a little bit of the stuff that's going on in the world. You know, we could have probably got a little bit deeper. We say it for another time. It's not that big of a deal, but I really just wanted to bring it to people's attention. Like, we literally sat around a table right now or a counter, and we just talked about it. And I think somebody has commented on here. I think if we did more of that as a country, we'd be in such a better place, right? We'd be in such a better place. I know some people on here, they don't like to hear the 3 letters, right? But those 3 letters, if you put them in anything, it'll make your life better, man.
What's your name?
Yeah, you know the 3 letters.
No, I don't.
G-O-D.
Oh,
G-O-D.
man, now you're gonna start a whole new thing.
No, we're good. We're good. No, you don't.
No.
Okay.
No.
It's cool that you don't. It's okay to
You need to bring
disagree.
him on for next week.
Yeah, we
But
bring him
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah.
subject.
But here's the deal. So, you guys believe in God, higher power, all this stuff. All right. So, what's that do? How does that affect me on a daily basis? How does that affect?
What I'm saying,
You believe what you want. It's a country.
yeah,
Free
it's
country, man.
you can do that. We're okay with that. But since somebody
But
don't believe
this
in
country
God,
needs more
shouldn't-
God.
Shouldn't mean that they should knock people who do, right?
No.
Just like
Right.
the people who do believe in God shouldn't knock anybody who doesn't believe in God.
Again, no.
Let's not open a whole other thing, but
No,
what I'm
no,
trying to get at,
no, again,
no,
leave
no.
people the hell alone.
Yeah,
Let
okay,
them
but
do
what I'm
they
trying
want,
to get
man.
at is in my personal opinion is I think that, you know, if we had a little more of that in our lives, sometimes things would be a little bit better. But I just wanted to bring to attention that we had people of different race sit around a table and openly discuss
Never met before.
anything, and 3 of them have never met each other ever before, and could literally have an open conversation. And you know, we have social media, and I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use this freaking platform the best that I can. What's that? The best that I can, and I'm gonna keep doing these. You know, and next week, not hey babe, you got the calendar next week? It's Joe, right?
Joe.
Okay. But I really wanted, with what's going on in the world and people posting on Facebook about they agree, they don't agree, of everything that's going on, the protesting. I think if you rewind and watch, we kind of are all in the same boat. In some shape or form, we're all in the same boat.
I think most of America is.
Yeah.
I really do. I think most of America believe the protesters are protesters. Riot and looting is wrong.
Yeah, and the media was kind of puts the divider.
They love it.
They make them look bad, and they're not out there looting. They're
Basically, I want to thank Mike. I want to thank Sean for coming on here and giving me your evening. I know you could be doing 100 different things. I want to thank you guys, the viewers. We'll figure out tomorrow. I kind of judge. You're getting to the thousands views, which is cool. That's what I get off of. I get off that we reached out to, you know, if we were talking to one person, for me it's worth it. We're talking to 10,000 people, cool. But I just wanted to put out there, man, the world ain't all what the media paints it to be. You know what I mean? If you want the world to be better, you gotta make your if whatever you could change. Just like he said earlier, did you do anything about it? You saw it, but did you do anything about it?
Yeah, they changed their profile picture on Facebook to a black square. They're good.
I did that.
Yeah.
But you heard what I said and the reason I did that. So what I'm saying is, I really enjoyed you guys hanging out with me, both of you.
Yes, sir.
I love you guys, and this is what America is, man. You know what I'm saying? Nobody sits here and be like, and don't judge Sean because he's not that black, bro. He's black. I'm telling you, this guy's black.
I'm a dark skin stuck in a light skin.
There you go. There you go. But
I'm white.
If we touch one person, if we change one person's ideals, or not even if we didn't change them, if we just opened up their mind to it, it's worth it, man. So thank you guys, bro, for coming on. Mikey, thank you.
I just got
You're the
It's all good. For all my Wacky Wednesday fans, I know we didn't do crazy shots, but they all sipping on some whiskey. It's all good. Tune in next week. I have Joe the Barber. We're talking all kinds of stuff, flat Earth.
Yeah, they're the same.
Yo, we're gonna go deep next week. So if you guys are into all like, what are those called? Those people? Conspiracy people. So if you're into conspiracy kind of shit, you better make sure you tune in next Wednesday on Wacky Wednesday because this shit's gonna get real conspiracal. Is that a word? That's a word, bro. That's a word. I made a new word. Wacky Wednesday, baby.
Robert makes our words, y'all.
So
Sometimes I question the Vivo education.
easy.
He makes up words.
Question.
Peace, love, and tranquility. I love you guys.
Over here.
Thank y'all for hanging out. To my
Over here, you
negrito,
gotta
my
put it over
soldado.
Actually, it's
You know what I mean?
whatever, dog.
I love you guys. Till next week.
Pronte quick.
Thank you guys for hanging out. And we'll see y'all next Wednesday.
Oh my Jesus.
Love y'all. Peace.
That was dope, man.
Yeah, we got it.
Over here.
You gotta end it over there, babe.
Your friend said pronto quick.
Pronti quick.
Pronti quick. Yeah, that's.
So, my friend saying.
Did you end it?
I'm going to.
And then upload in HD.
So, my friend said,
What?
go next week.